A silver-haired beauty, Alia Mikhailovna Kujo, makes a dazzling entrance to cause an uproar at Siren Academy, whose father is Russian. This chick with Russian genes seems to be excelling in literally everything and is known to be a student council treasurer. Suddenly, Ando, from his second year, tries to get cheesy with this chick, asking her out for lunch right in public. But hey, this beauty has no time for a dumbhead loafer like him. After rejecting a super popular diva boy from the academy, everyone wonders how much higher her standards are. Later, she settles down on her desk, making everyone gasp at her mesmerizing presence, and the first thing she does is wish Kuza a good morning. With no quick response, she blows a kick to his chair, almost making the lad trip over, asking if he again binged anime overnight. Upon asking, Kuza mentions chit-chatting with his otaku mates for straight up to 2 hours. Though this chick desires to know if he has dumped his brain somewhere, Kuze states he is a fool for expressing his love for a piece of work regardless of time. With her usual huffy-puffy attitude, she considers this guy to be a hopeless fool. Watching him yawn like a buffoon, she slips out, saying he looks cute but quickly changes her mind when Kuze catches him. So she ends up calling this brat an ugly mess. Afterward, struggling to get to his chemistry textbook, he asks Alia if he could borrow it. Thus, this chick learns that this dimwit again forgot his book at home, so she gives in. Attaching their desk, Alia notices Kuze dozing off, so she pierces him with a pencil and the dude raises his hand like a class clown. Just then, his teacher demands an answer right away, but Kuju points at the book to be copper, which, by the way, was a trap for this sleepyhead. After spitting out the wrong answer, the professor goes for Alia, who ends up hitting the right answer, which is nickel. Though the lad tries to confront this crazy chick, she again ends up calling him cute but changes her words rather quickly to call him a fool for the second time. Flipping his lad, his whacked brain can't get what this chick is up to, as Alia notices him blushing like a baby. Looking at her, Kuze remembers playing with a Russian girl near his grandpa's house, so he bets that he knows most of the Russian language. However, this cracked brain has no clue how he ended up sitting with a Russian beauty who uses Russian to hide her feelings. However, imagining her flushed and blushed body collapsing when knowing he knows Russian concerns him even more, as it sends shivers down his spine. Later on, Alia, ever the grumpy chick, scolds Kuza for breaking school rules by using his phone at school, but the lad shuts her up by saying it is for an emergency. Upon asking, Kuza shared that his free card draw would be over in 10 minutes, which annoyed our grumpy queen, Alia. Out of the blue, Kuze screams at the top of his lungs about getting SSR Tsukoyami, but Alia sees this golden chance to confiscate his phone right under his nose. But the chick learns he landed a moon goddess from Japanese mythology, and her silver hair concerns her even more. Kuza believes it matches the moon, but asks her to dump the details and admire her beauty instead. Giving off a stinky eye, she hands his phone back to him as she watches him drool over Lord Tsukoyami. Just then, he hears Alia using Russian to tell him she is silver-haired as well, fooling him into calling her a dimwit loser. And this catches the poor loser off guard, trying to act like he didn't hear anything. At lunch, Baldi cries hard, yearning to be popular. Out of the blue, the lot watches the student council beauties emerge out of nowhere, where Alia and her sister Maria are having trouble finding seats. So Maria, the secretary, decides to have a bite with her classmates instead, as Yuko Suu, the public relations girl, gets adjusted to their wishes. Everyone is drooling over those girls, as this guy tells Kuza that Maria Kuju got a boyfriend. However, Kuza bet Takeshi stands no chance before that doll anyway. But Takeshi, fuming mad, tells this dude to drop his cocky attitude just because he knows Alia Kuju. Well, Baldi's jealous bum can't digest the fact that he got personal nickname privileges with Alia. While Kuza ponders hard about Alia, Lady bets he got a chance with Sue instead. However, the other guy thinks that Chick is far better at rejecting confessions than the Kuju sisters. Just then, Suo, blushing like a ripped tomato, asks Kuza if he has enough seats over his table. Looks like Takeshi's dream is about to come true. While Kuza and Sue eat the same ramen, they wonder to bring up about putting some chili oil on the menu. Ever the grumpy doll, Alia asks if these two are close, as Sue mentions being Kuza's childhood friend since kindergarten. Although she wishes to get to know Alia better, Alia thinks she might not have enough fun with her, but that wouldn't stop Alia from giving it a try. After Takeshi and the other guy leave as they can't handle such a bright table, Sue, getting closer, asks Kuza if he is running on the offer to join the student council. Watching Sue get closer, our grumpy queen, Alia, doesn't like where this is going. He bluntly rejects the thought, but Sue explains how he was a top-notch vice president of the middle school student council, which catches Alia off guard. Although he lets Alia know that it was just to help Sue, the president and vice president had to team up. Moreover, Sue reveals how Kuze can handle such serious tasks when he needs to, which she bet might come off as a shock to Alia. However, Alia mutters in Russian that she has known that for a long time. Afterward, Alia shares how she never thought this ugly loser had a female friend as well, but this dude reminds this chick that she is her female friend too. It came as a shock to her as she walked out in a hurry. A few years ago, Kuze ran off to the field to find a blonde Russian chick waiting for him in the playground, and she invited him to enjoy the sunset. Suddenly, Kuze wakes up and wonders how the lad mastered Russian just to talk to that chick, but he doesn't remember her name at all. The next day, Kuze and Alia got the duty of cleaning the classroom, as this ugly loser did a perfect job before Alia made an entrance. Although this chick's fury knows no bounds seeing Kuze wake up this early. He notices the dirt on her knee, and Alia mentions getting hit by a splash from a passing truck, but she got spares. Upon asking, Kuze talks about not joining the student council at all. Moving on, Alia notices him blushing to see her thighs, so she orders Kuze to fetch her socks. After that, she asks for his help to put it on, which catches him off guard. Alia calls this a reward for helping her out, but she mutters in Russian that it's a reward for her too. With a sigh, Kuze wonders why she likes hiding behind Russian to express herself, calling this a new technique to vent her stress. After Alia calls him a wimp, he forcefully puts her sock on her leg and ends up touching at the very wrong place, which wins him Alia's special high kick up his face. After whining about his foot fetish with his sister, Kuze tries catching up with Alia, but Alia mutters in Russian to call him a foot fetish pervert. With his sorry ass apologizing, she apologizes for kicking him this hard. Just then, she gets closer to see if he hurt his neck, but that sends a shiver down his spine. Suddenly, he blurts out his thanks for showing something nice to him this way. And boy, that came out really wrong. Alia, with her eyes wide as saucers, wonders if he has seen through her undies. A sudden smacking punch blows this ugly loser away as he watches her run like Flash. Now these two are sprinting in the corridors, chasing each other like Tom and Jerry. After 10 minutes, these two catch their breath on the stairs. Kuze straight up apologizes for being an utter fool as she admits her fault too. Out of the blue, he whips out red bean soup to present to his princess as a token of his apology. Though the lad knows it is her favorite, she excuses being thirsty to have a sip. Just then, she mutters in Russian, asking if he would like a sip, which jolts his brain, thinking this chick needs an indirect kiss. But this dude has no courage to confront her. Alia suddenly laughs, saying in Russian how this dumbhead knows nothing, as Kuze has had enough of this crap. This story begins with a dazzling display of a star shining brighter on this sunny day. The ultimate heartthrob and the epitome of passion, this girl is winning the hearts of the people. This young woman is a cosplayer with the love and passion she shares. Moving on, it's a normal school day when an ugly loser is going nuts at the manga club playing his video game, The Ashford Chronicles. He mumbles that the scene of Liliel's death makes his heart pop out. With zero interest in 3D girls, a second-year high schooler tells how his poor ass was abandoned by his runaway mother when he was 8 years old. In grad school, the lad got bullied for confessing to his crush. Not only that, all the chicks in his class call this moron a gross otaku. But hey, this loser gives no damn when there is a literal angel. His waifu, Liliel, who is a sweetheart and got her eyes only on the MC, is just one dimension away. Moving on, this wackadoodle knows all the other club members graduated and how 3D girls got no shit with him. Out of the blue, this short-haired girl drops at the manga club and barges in. This catches the lad off guard, as he is stunned to spot such a cute nerd asking to join. So basically, this chick is Risa Amano, a first year who really loves manga. Though this dude bets she is all for shoujo bull crap, as this club thrives on melons and peaches for guys. So the lad is scratching his brain to find ways to get this girl off his secret sanctuary. Suddenly, Risa is outright excited to spot Liliel's miniature dolls, as this dude bets this chick might think this is his baby sister's doll or something. Because this treasure is a limited edition figurine of Liliel, after seeing Risa just saw the miniature strip, he is damn sure this girl is going to run off faster than Flash. However, she admires this hentai art from her 5th anniversary booklet, seeing how her face is cute and the costume is perfect. However, her only concern is why the dumbheads put white boring undies on her instead of black lace, which she would prefer if she were Lilial. And this guy's cracked brain just lost it with a jaw dangling over the floor, knowing this chick knows too much. Clenching her skirt, she bet Lilial would have looked darn sexier, and this lad couldn't help but agree with her. Suddenly, her sorry ass apologizes for being all weird and judgy in their first meeting. However, this dude says the weirdest thing is that she is into stuff like that. But she straight up admits to having a thing for cute and sexy characters. After spotting her flushing red in embarrassment, the lad assures this chick of having a lot in common with him, especially about Lilial. Though he frowns, knowing she believes she loves Lilial more than anyone. So the lad declares Lilial to be the perfect package for a man's fantasy. Thus, Risa declares loving all the idols designed for a man's fantasy, declaring all the stuff boys adore about them is totally real. Hence, she announces her love for Lilial and her desire to be just like her. And this just catches the lad by surprise, knowing he never thought of coming across a chick like this. After their intense, insane excitement over an old movie, Risa mumbles about sharing something that might weird him out. So basically, this guy, Okamura as a real otaku, declares never to judge anyone by the things they love. It hits this chick hard hearing him quote his senior as he mentions that love and passion are her heart and soul, which makes them real otakus. Just then, the thought of getting rid of her jolts his brain right to the point, but Risa ends up showing her Cosroom's DVD collection. Out of the blue, she blurts out that she desperately wants to make one of herself, and that makes Okamura scream horribly. Moving on, she shares how she grew up imagining wearing these cute, sexy costumes for cosplay. However, knowing it's sort of kinky and rather disturbing for some people, she kept this one super secret for a long time. But she explains how she spotted the chicks wearing those at her first public, in-person event. And that's where she learns that it's totally okay to talk about and mingle around in those sexy outfits. She recalls two hotshot cosplay chicks spotting her at the softcore event, and they told her to come back when she was in high school for a better experience. That's where Risa learns to enjoy and pursue her passion with pride. So basically, this chick is Dan stuck on making a costume for Lilial. Coming on to the favor, Risa asks this ugly loser to take her snaps as Lilial's diehard fans, because she can't afford to be alone with a dude. Hence, she shares about spotting Lilial's poster and Okamura screaming for her when she was coming here for admission, which signed her up due to fate calling. So she explains how she feels about trusting him with this camera stuff, as with passion, they can bring Lilial to life. With a loud sigh, Okamura admits Risa's joining the application due to her cosplay passion. As for her, this moron assures this chick that he has no interest in her because his eyes are only for his waifu Lilial. Just then, Risa strips naked, giving Okamura a straight-up paralysis attack. He hops onto the windows, trying to shut the drapes. With a 180 degrees turn of his head, the lad spots Lilial standing right in front of him as his cheeks are burning hot red like habanero sauce. With her mimicking Lilial's Ashford Salma signature line, Okamura's nosebleed pressure smacks him right on the wall. While she mutters about fitting into her usual angel outfit, the lad can't help but notice how Lilial is a 3D girl. When he's trying to snap out of it, Risa ends up showing Lilial's white undies she went with, which pops his eyes out in horror. Not to mention, this chick gives a full-on display of her thong to match her in chapter 128 when Okamura's shame is steaming up. Just then, the lad drops dead on the floor with a Dan fever. Later on, he wakes up to find the 3D Lilial giving him a lap head rub while taking care of his fever before dropping dead again. The next day, Okamura regrets letting that chick join as he tries to convince his mind of not being in love with that 3D girl after swearing allegiance to 2D Lilial. Suddenly, Risa barges in to join him watching Lilial's ova, as her whiny ass complains of not getting her hands over it. Thus, she insists he fills her with everything about this ova art. The lad blabbers about Lilial's godlike animation detail. Later on, those two end up playing games like dumb nerds, as Okamura's excitement over having such a cool kohai, otaku buddy, knows no bounds. Just then, she paused the game to reveal the player's sexy undies in a few frames, mentioning to note down all the details to make her cosplay realistic. Thus, she explains how her thrush of passion is to bring back sexy characters to life. Even Okamura bets he has seen that live action of hers, which is why he got smacked to the wall. Right then, she jumps to get into her new costume, showing him the training outfit from the Angel Academy spin-off that knocks his socks off. Moving on, this hotshot chick requests that he take a few snaps of her and let his love for Liliel guide him. With her first pose, the lad is caught off guard and spots Chapter 81's front page spin-off pose in reel. Wiping his tears, he starts clicking on a few snaps of her in Liliel's costume. Suddenly, she runs to get into Liliel's third squad uniform, as Okumura continues on getting her mega cute pictures. Moving on, she thanks a ton to this ugly loser for letting Liliel's love pop out on these snaps. Later on, he convinces himself not to fall for this chick, but he admits she is the coolest kohai he could ever desire. So he wishes to support this chick with undine pure intentions until her wardrobe malfunction causes him to help her undress. Trying to unzip her jacket, it snaps off, but he spins it off like a madman, assuring her of seeing nothing at all. Just then, she trips, but Okumura catches her on time, but she blurts out, "Thank you, Ashford-sama." The lad tells her to cut it off now, as she laughs like a real cutie. Suddenly, Arisa requests this dimwit to let her melons go off now as she is fine, which electrocutes his poor ass. Thus, he makes a run for it after his sorry-ass apologies. Later on, she mumbles about how he is so damn stronger when her heart is racing like a Ferrari. At Cobran Public High School, students are bustling with activity, each absorbed in their own tasks. Whereas Rin is lost in the new school, hence she spots a boy standing nearby. Therefore, she approaches him and asks where the theater club room is. The boy asks Rin if she is a first-year student. She nods and says yes. With a burst of enthusiasm, the boy introduces himself as Eiji Kitahama, the president of the theater club. He quickly becomes embarrassed, admitting that he is currently the club's only member. Despite this, he assures her that he doesn't want to pressure her into joining. Funnily, Rin is staring at him like he has stepped out of a cheesy romance hero. She feels that their meeting is the beginning of a grand story. This girl needs to stop watching too many cheesy dramas. Funnily, her sweet bubble burst the moment she stepped into the theater club room and found it overflowing with students. Also, she gets to know that Eiji is not the club president. Eiji is teasing her for thinking like it was the start of a grand story. Two boys then give her a script and tell her to show them her acting skills. Surprisingly, Rin gives a jaw-dropping performance of Juliet. Thus, they all get fascinated by her acting. After that, the club president asked her if she would like to join their club. At this, Rin becomes happy and says yes. Hence, all the club members give her a warm welcome. After a while, Rin and Eiji are in the gym class. There, the boy tells Rin that he always dreams of having a harem. Surprisingly, Rin becomes seductive and asks him if he wants to go on a date with her. Funnily, Eiji is looking at her weirdly. Thus, Rin confesses that she is acting like the dubious little devil girl. At this, Eiji smartly asks her if she is trying to give him the pseudo-harem experience. Rin goes with the act and ties her hair into ponytails. Thus, the boy becomes thoughtful and states that having a harem can be tiresome, since he can't decide what kind of girl he wants. After that, he bows to the girl and praises Rin for her amazing acting skills. Rin becomes shy and tells the boy that she is gonna love acting in front of him. Eiji thinks that she is still acting, hence he compliments her and calls her cute. The next day, Rin and Eiji are together. The boy tells Rin to teach him to be popular in school. Rin thinks about it and starts acting like a cool, silent person. She then tells the boy to act like her. However, Rin finds it difficult, since he is not the silent type of person. But after a minute, he makes a serious face and tells Rin that he can act like this for life. Rin looks at him and smiles at his cuteness. The next day, Rin is having lunch. Meanwhile, Eiji is painting. Rin starts acting like a cool girl to feed him. However, Eiji gives her a cat headband and gloves to put on. Rin shyly wears the gloves and headband. She then acts like a cat and cutely meows at him. They are making me question my sanity. Eiji is looking for his phone to take pictures of Rin with cat ears. Meanwhile, Rin thinks to use this opportunity to get his number by calling his phone to find it. However, she gets very nervous after watching him. Hence, she tries another tactic and starts acting like a cool devil girl. She seductively tells him that she can call him, but then he will get her number. Eiji also gets along with the act and states to her that he will tell her his number. Hence, she has to call it. However, Rin acts ignorant. Therefore, the boy changes his act and tells her that if she doesn't want to call his number, then he will ask the tsundere girl to call it. At this, Rin becomes shy and hurriedly holds her ponytails to act like a tsundere girl. She then tells him that she will do it. After that, Rin calls him and they find his phone. The boy then starts talking to her on the phone. He says thanks to her for helping him find the phone. After some time, Rin meets Iji in the classroom and asks him to help her with the art assignment since the boy is good at art stuff. Funnily, Eiji starts acting like a serious boy and tells her to show some manners while asking for a favor. At this, the girl gets nervous and asks him what she can do for him. Funnily, Eiji tells her to ask about the favor as the cool girl. Rin gently smiles at him, and within a second, she changes her expression to act like a cool girl. They both then act out their roles. Funnily, Eiji becomes shocked seeing her bad art skills. The girl explains that she is drawing Romeo and Juliet, but she finds it hard to paint the evening sky. Rin then acts like a spoiled girl and tells the boy to do her drawing, since he is good at it. Funnily, Eiji becomes shocked by her new character's acting. After a while, the boy did all the painting for her. In the evening, Rin and Eiji, along with their friends, gather around a dimly lit room for a session of horror storytelling. After some time, Rin and Eiji are alone. Funnily, Rin gets scared by the horror stories, and because of it, she can't be alone. Hence, she tells the boy to wait outside, while she is changing her clothes. The next day, Rin finds Eiji sleeping in the class. Hence, she goes to wake him up for the club. She then acts like a cool girl to wake him up, but the boy is sleeping like a baby. Thus, Rin gets embarrassed for not getting a reaction out of him. After a moment, Eiji wakes up and finds Rin holding his hand. Hence, he asks her why she is holding his hand. At this, Rin gets embarrassed and tells him that the girls were doing pranks on him, that's why. Funnily, Eiji lays his head on the desk and states that he will take another nap so that she can act like other girls and wake him up. After some time, Eiji tells the girl that he wants to change his wallpaper, and for that, he needs her cute picture. Rin gets straight to action and acts like a shy girl. Hence, the boy takes her picture, but the picture doesn't come out good. Thus, Rin gives other expressions, but every time, her face gets weird in the picture. Suddenly, Nakayama comes there and asks them what they are playing. Eiji informs her that Rin can't make the perfect expression, and that's why she is getting flustered. Nakayama then makes some expressions that make Rin laugh. Eiji takes the opportunity and clicks her pictures. Later in the evening, Rin and Eiji are going home. The boy asks Rin how her midterm exam was. Funnily, Rin gets embarrassed and replies that her exams were okay. She then asks about his exams. At this, Eiji shows her his exam papers. After that, Eiji tells her to show him her papers now. However, Rin doesn't want to show him. Funnily, Eiji tells her to show her papers, so that they both can be embarrassed together. Finally, Rin shows him her papers. The boy notices that she is weak at maths. Hence, he flirts with her and tells her not to worry about it, since he will be smarter and teach her. Rin gets shy at this. The next day, Eiji tells Rin that he is having a cooking competition with Sue in the cooking class. That's why they want her to be their judge and tell them whose dish is good. Rin gets super determined to make Eiji win by choosing his dish. However, she doesn't know what he made. Thus, she focusedly eats both dishes and nervously announces that she liked dish B. Nakayama informed her that it was Eiji's dish. However, the winner is not decided yet, since Nakayama liked Sue's dish and Rin liked Eiji's dish. After thinking for a moment, Eiji states that the cool devil girl should decide the winner. At this, Rin gets embarrassed and tells him that she can't act in front of other people. However, Eiji wants her to act like a cool girl, and this starts an argument between them. The next day, Eiji wants Rin to wear different dresses for each of her characters at the sports event. Thus, they argue about what she should wear. The next day, the boy wakes up late and hurriedly comes without styling his hair. That's why his hair is looking weird. Meanwhile, Rin tries a new hairstyle. They then meet and make some jokes with each other. At school, Eiji is feeling cold. Thus, Rin puts her coat on his shoulder. However, the boy stands up and puts her coat back on her. Rin gets flustered by his gesture and decides to wear light clothes tomorrow so that Eiji can give her his coat. The robot-looking person is at home, cooking while the man works overtime. He finally shuts his computer down and heads home. Takuma has been living alone for years now, but someone at his house is busy cooking delicious meals. He barely has time for anything considering his workload, so he decided to buy a housekeeping robot. As soon as Takuma steps into the house, he's welcomed by his robot. He later explains how the machine works and where he got it from. He thrifted the robot, and its only purpose is to make recipes out of the ingredients that are kept in the fridge. It also cleans the house like a housewife. Despite the fact that it is made by a robot, coming back to warmly prepared meals keeps Takuma going. He named his robot Mina and hit on her here and there, fantasizing how amazing it would be to have a wife. Tonight too, he's trying to flirt with Mina while she cooks and brings up the idea of her becoming his wife. After hearing that, Mina just stares at Takuma blankly, which makes him blush very hard. He didn't know how to break eye contact, so he told her to cook more side dishes to extinguish the awkwardness. Takuma finds the tension ridiculous and continues drinking his beer. The food is all ready to be served by now. Takuma is caught off guard when he reads what's written on the omelette rice. It reads "Love Takuma," and it lifts the dude to cloud 9. He's confused about how Mina wrote all that with the ketchup and decides to go through the manual all night to figure out what feature enables her to do those kinds of things. When he couldn't find anything, he came to the conclusion that her previous owner might have altered her program to add this feature. He's going through all kinds of possibilities until it's time for lunch. Mina gets up to head to the kitchen, and Takuma decides to help her out. Mina tells him to be seated and wait for the food, but he doesn't stop. He cracks 2 eggs in a bowl and the shell falls in. Mina detects it, but Takuma is okay with it. His attempt to make an omelette doesn't go very well, and Mina keeps telling him to sit down and wait for the food. Takuma doesn't listen, and it starts to piss Mina off. She grabs his arm and strictly tells him to hand everything over to him. Takuma gets scared and finally listens to her. In a matter of some time, the food was all prepared and served to Takuma. Mina sits beside him without any remote expression on her, which is understandable considering she is just a robot. Takuma, though, seems to see her more than a robot. He had been in love with a girl once, but things didn't go as he wanted, and they broke up. After that, Takuma never tried to find love again and decided that he would give up on love entirely. But things are looking different now. He can't help but fall in love with Mina. He's trying to see if she feels the same way for him. The writing on the omelette rice from the previous night keeps appearing in his thoughts again and again. Maybe his hopes in love are returning. But with a robot this time. It is evening now and the sun is about to set. Mina is busy in the kitchen washing the dishes. Takuma decides that he will go and help her out, but Mina refuses to receive any help from him and tells him to sit down. Takuma tries to hold a conversation with Mina, as if she were a human, and vaguely asks her about her ideal romantic interest. Obviously, the robot is not programmed for this sort of conversation, so she responds however she can as a household cook machine. Takuma tells her that he's not talking about food and brings up the omelette from last night. He can't finish his sentence and keeps hesitating. Mina thinks that something was wrong with the food, but Takuma grabs her hands and tells her how delicious it is. Mina responds dryly to the compliment, and Takuma asks her to make the same food again. This is what happens when you give up on love. Takuma can't figure out if the writing on the rice was purely out of love or just some secret feature Mina has. It is hard for him to sleep at night, and he can't stop thinking about Mina. Being in love with a random home appliance doesn't make sense to him. Then he hears Mina's voice. He notices that she isn't in sleep mode and sits up straight to listen to her. Mina asks him what he prefers. Takuma answers thinking she must be asking what he wants for lunch tomorrow, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. Mina repeats the question, and it sounds similar to what Takuma had asked her in the kitchen earlier that day. Mina is asking about his romantic preference, and he is surprised. Takuma finally responds and confesses his love to Mina. Mina responds to his confession so dryly that he gets back in his blanket and starts freaking out of embarrassment. Takuma is then woken up by a very scary nightmare in the morning. In his dream, Mina has boiled her own head as food to feed Takuma. After this scary dream, Takuma is wide awake and Mina enters the room with a tray full of delicious food. Mina had prepared some breakfast of her own choice, and Takuma couldn't complain. As Mina is about to leave after serving breakfast, Takuma grabs her hands and tells her that he doesn't want to cook herself just because he told her that he liked her last night. Mina understands, and Takuma continues to devour the food. When he's done eating, Mina returns to the room and tells Takuma not to eat her because her body is made up of metal and resin, so it'd be toxic for him. As per routine, Takuma returns home from work, grabs his beer, and keeps drinking can after can. Mina just sits there and watches him. Takuma tries to remind himself that robots don't understand romance and he shouldn't ridicule himself. He finds himself pathetic and decides that he will stop living alone because the loneliness is getting to his head. Takuma wants to move on from Mina, but the thought of her liking him lingers at the back of his head. He keeps wondering if she likes him or not while constantly stealing glances at her as he empties another can of beer. He doesn't stop drinking and thinking about the possibility of Mina liking him back. He had drunk past his limit, and Mina got up to remind him that. He tells her to let him drink because he wants to. Mina listens and brings jugs filled with the amount of water equal to how much beer Takuma had drunk. She tells him to drink the water, but Takuma tells her that he can't handle that much at one time. He refuses, but the robot makes him drink it forcefully. Takuma wants to keep drinking, but Mina empties the last cans of beer and tells the dude that he's run out. The dude is drunk and asks the robot what she thinks of him. She tells him that she sees him as her husband upon his demand from a few days ago. Mina understands what it means to be married, and Takuma couldn't be happier. He's now married to a robot. He wants to help her with the chores, but Mina refuses yet again. Takuma was drunk talking and about to sleep, so his now wife puts him to bed. Takuma wants her to sleep with him, but Mina refuses, saying she doesn't want to disturb him. But Takuma insists, and the robot gets in the bed with him. The two make eye contact for some time, but Mina's eyes scare Takuma, so he asks her to close them. Being in a bed with a girl turns Takuma on, but Mina doesn't understand any of that, so he tells her to brush it off. Mina looks up the meaning online and understands that Takuma is sexually aroused. She asks if she can help him. Takuma's heartbeat fastens and he tells the robot that he'll be fine. Takuma wakes up the next morning, regretting everything he did while he was drunk last night. Mina enters his room, and Takuma notices how her eyes look different. She tells him that nothing's wrong with her. She then asks if he's hungover, but he isn't, thanks to all the water he drank. Takuma gets ready for work while Mina prepares food. He figured that Mina changed her eyes because he mentioned how they scared him. Takuma clears that misunderstanding by telling her that her eyes are pretty. Mina listens and changes her eyes back to normal. The food is served, and Takuma starts eating with everything from the past few days flashing in his mind. Takuma compliments the food at last, and Mina acknowledges the remark. Entering this picture, Shintaro Tokimitsu is daring to live like a one-man island for a long time. Unbeknownst to him, his fate has decided to have his world rocked harder than a pinball machine. When there is this girl named Tawa who literally flew the coop and landed on his terrace. Looks like this lucky guy got his hands full with this new divine balcony buddy. It's like having an unexpected rain of sweet marshmallows on the top of his head. Well, with the room filled with the sweetest vibes, there's something that screams about her not being from around here. Shintaro is caught in a dilemma about this supernatural, celestial being as his roommate, while thinking about what holy havoc she is bringing to this table. Not gonna lie, this man has just signed me up for this upcoming cute and pure chaos. Shintaro, with his solo ride, has this girl, Tawa, working some divine magic. This is bound to get interesting. All of a sudden, the clouds of pink smoke cleared to unveil a mysterious landscape of pure bliss. Imagine this picture-perfect scene of green land with an ocean view, a couple of Greek temples, and a Colosseum chilling right before some epic mountains. Not to mention, the sky here is exploding with every possible color to ever exist, blending into an unimaginable view while throwing the most aesthetic sunset ever. As the wind touched the cheeks, an angelic voice from heaven blessed the hearts and the ears. Talk about this angelic dive. This white-haired woman desires a scoop of humans from a close-up. Seriously, her reflection in the river is as magnificent as the pearl, flying through while leaving behind a trail of white feathers. Though she is swirling through the wind with her gorgeous white wings that would make her the next Victoria's Secret model in Utopia. This divine angel is freaking out a little while flapping her wings through the pink clouds. An angel is dipping out her stunning feathers, but she clenches this black-blue brooch over her chest as if it's her lucky charm. It looks like greeting and meeting people does not happen to be the skill in her resume. Twirling through the beautiful pink mist, she dives down through the dark blue surface of night and reaches the top of a mega city. There are buildings taller than giraffes on every damn corner in this buzz-filled land, as humans are crowing the place like ants scurrying around. Not to mention, the dazzling lights lit the city, making this angel sigh in awe. A small rosy smile with tinted cheeks plays over her lips. She thinks this might work after all, as she believes it might land an incredible beginning. At the fanny store, a guy announces his departure, while a man praises Shintaro for his good work today. The night's darkness paints the streets with a pin-drop silence. His footsteps can be heard alongside his tiresome sigh. With his backpack, Shintaro complains about this extra-long shift running a number on him. Suddenly, a cat crosses his path and stares at him in this darkness. He slouches down to pat him as he finds her very familiar. Flashing back, this guy reminisces about a time he picked a cat that was right before his home. But sadly he could not keep her, so his neighbor, who happens to be the cat person, took her in. Staring at her, he believes being ready enough to take her in, but it is too late for that now. Declaring his arrival at home, he wears his shoes out and proceeds to freshen up. This guy has started living alone a month ago when he joined high school, as he expresses getting used to his new life by now. putting his backpack aside and having a look at his mess. Suddenly, he sneezes while thinking the cold must have caught up to him with this lifestyle. Thus, he falls on his bed instantly, where he desires for some company that is not just his walls, book, or his own thoughts. With a wavy wind letting a white feather slip in, he sleeps peacefully that night. The next day at 8:15 a.m., his alarm starts buzzing to begin a new day with new hope. Although he complains of feeling utterly uncomfortable, he remembers the cold might have caught on too hard. He then reaches the fridge to pour some milk and proceeds to sip it when the wind touches his hair. Starting at the source, he figures the window to be open while he credits his darn luck that nobody broke in. Not to mention, this guy looks pretty broke anyway, but a sudden stare at the floor confuses him. He sees a woman in white sleeping on his balcony in the most blissful way possible. This guy just jumped a mile high, while letting out a blood-curdling scream as if he nearly had a heart attack. Yelped like a scaredy cat, he spilled the milk all over her, while fumbling on his words trying to make sense out of this. This white-haired woman wakes up, opening her gorgeous blue eyes as Shintaro believes her to be alive, fortunately. Making him blush like a tomato, she wishes him a very good morning in the most adorable way possible. Another scream in surprise, he spots his spill over her chest. Later, this girl wipes herself out in his bathroom, while he is out there turning hot red, whimpering about what he has gotten himself into. What the heck is this? Cutting out the good thing aside, he did not discover a corpse, but this human could be anything, from a thief to a cosplay or a runaway girl, while not ruling out the possibility of her rocking a serial killer profession. His brain scurries this information on fast forward to mull over as many questions as possible. He then asks himself why he is letting a trespasser use his bathroom so politely. Knowing about spilling the milk in surprise, he is battling with his own thoughts, trying to make it better in his head. Thus, the only explanation he could come up with is he is being pranked for a TV show or an online video. As she is washing her clothes in the bathroom, Shintaro is turning his apartment upside down to find any sign of a camera. Suddenly, she comes out to ask for some clothes, but she regrets seeing him panic about finding some fresh clothes. Later, in a white shirt, she blushes. On the other hand, he can only apologize for having this spare. Brushing aside, she asks to apologize for napping on his balcony last night without any consent. As if her soul is taken fresh out of a flower maze, she glances at his sight, while exclaiming to introduce herself as Tawa. Gasping escapes his lips when he looks closely enough to see her super gorgeous face. With that aside, she asks his name when he is all wonderstruck by her presence. Thus, he introduces himself as Tokumitsu Shintaro when they are sitting on the floor of his messy apartment. Not gonna lie, the land of Shintaro-sama sounds more like an after-hurricane zone. She then mentions how kind he is to her when forgiving her for trespassing on his property and letting her use some clothes. Calling him Shintaro-sama, she never thought she could land such a pure-hearted guy, as she calls this the work of God. Though warmly smiling at her, he believes this girl to be extremely nice and properly elegant. Moreover, she wishes to have a meet-up with his family as well, while he expresses living alone here. Wonderstruck to hear this, she mistakes this block of a room to be a huge mansion with these windows. Baffled by her questions, he is astonished to see she does not know about apartment buildings as they aren't even rare. After he brushes her foggy mind, she lets out a gasp when she learns he owns this single block of a room only. However, she mentions how she thought this to be a storage room. Given the mess here as if the storm chooses to come here to wreck every corner, he doesn't blame her for coming to that conclusion. Hence, she compliments him on having a very compact and cozy home while he chuckles at that nervously. This guy finds this model's face as a nice, kind-hearted weirdo fallen from the sky onto his balcony. He then asks her the reason for sleeping over his balcony, so she proceeds to show him gratitude for letting her have a nap, and she wishes to repay him for that. All of a sudden, turning red in the face, she hunches over him, asking if he has anything he would like her to do. Gradually, his glance falls over her melons. He screams for some personal space while this girl continuously claims to be doing anything in her power to pay him back. A sudden thud to the ground, he screams to have nothing for her to do that he wants. Not hearing a no, she then quickly stands up to offer her delicious cooking in exchange. But she doesn't require an answer for that, so she rushes towards the kitchen like a happy-go-lucky girl. However, he tries to stop her from doing that, but she ends up opening his fridge to find nothing but plain milk. Hence, he explains how he does not have to cook when he gets everything made from the outside. Jumping like a kid, she proceeds to take over the chores of this house as a gratitude gift, while asking him to let her clean for the least. Screaming at the top of his lungs, He exclaims that has stuff he doesn't want anyone to pry on. Rushing in to put aside his books, he discovers Tawa screaming in pain, so he charges over to the balcony for her aid. Only to find her between some cat's dispute, she reads God's words of love, saying that one must love their neighbors as they love themselves. Befuddled by this sight, he asks her the reason behind preaching some cats. He then mentions how house cats here love to have some good scraps. Wrapping the bandage over her finger, she tells him how fighting isn't the answer to anything. But he assures her about seeing them napping together often. Hence, she thanks him for being a kind-hearted soul, as his pure vibes help clear her heart. Next, he claims Tawa has no reason for running away like this, but he figures it is too risky for a girl to crash some nights away from her home. He asks her to go back to where she comes from while asking if she lives closer by any chance. Looks like Shintaro-sama's days at inflation might be making it hard to host such a pretty guest. Good luck explaining her the bullet points about rent and skyrocketing bills to his newly divine roommate. Furthermore, he asks if it is far away in the outskirts, but shaking her head, she confronts it to be in heaven, as it is God's abode. Thrown from a loop, he finds himself pummeled over by this confusion. Again apologizing for some proper introduction, she introduces herself to be an angel Tawa. However, this guy does not seem to buy it and thinks this girl has totally lost it. He is freaking out when stumbling over to some sick psycho who thinks of her as an angel from heaven. She then explains her arrival on Earth last night on God's command, on the mission to work on her study of human operations, on behalf of all the angel kind. While she goes on yapping about some stuff, Shintaro is panicking while thinking how she isn't her runway model. Blasting his thoughts to the point of exploding in no time, he figures her to be the dangerous loco. Not to mention, if he doesn't get her out of here, then he would be buying some endangered snake oil in no time. Looks like the marketing strategy changed, exchanging their sellers with some supermodels to boost their sales faster than a rocket launch. While she is complaining about having fewer human interactions lately, unbeknownst to her, he is shivering at God's speed. This guy is freaking out hearing her make up such stories, while raging one thought after another, without letting the first one finish. His brain rampaging inside with his neurons, he screams knowing that he has let a monster or psychopath in his home. Going in circles as the god of depression possesses his bloody face, he regrets accepting the fact that anyone who naps over someone's balcony would ever cut out to be normal. On the other hand, Tower explains having an interest in him for a long time. She further expresses her happiness to score this chance to meet him in person. With that aside, she mentions this to be her first time visiting the living world, which is the reason she has nowhere else to go. All of a sudden, she makes a request and asks him if he could let her crash here for a while until she is done with her mission. With his 9:30 alarm buzzing up to get his attention, he remembers not being a lowly guy on a Sunday, crouching over some nasty couch to binge some movies. Rushing over to get his things, he shouts about having to go to work. Charging onto the balcony, he shoves her clothes into her hands, while claiming them to be dry enough to wear now. Moreover, he commands her to change right away while ignoring her cry for repaying his gratitude. Pushing her out, he yells that she makes sure about reaching home once and for all and quit roaming around. Being ready for work, he takes her out of the apartment and asks to walk her part way and leave for work ahead. Taking a long sigh of relief, he did not believe he could get out of this with every single strand of his hair intact. He believes in not having her as a guest, not even in daylight. Calling his attention, she bows at his existence and thanks him for having her over unexpectedly. Seeing that, he finds a gut-wrenching feeling called guilt, knocking over every corner of his stomach to make him question if he is doing the right thing. At the Fanny, as if he has seen a ghost, Shintaro, like a zombie, apologizes for leaving early today. Whereas the manager calls it to be not a biggie, as he doesn't have to apologize for something so little. He then asks him to take care of himself and get his routine medicine. Later, he sips out some cola in front of a sunset, while a cool breeze brushes against his cheeks. Out of the market, Shintaro proceeds to walk home as he complains about having a fuzzy head today. A sudden vision of Tawa makes her think if she actually arrived home safe and sound. Not to mention, he figures her to be super cute and super crazy altogether. Too bad it did not work out in this normal world. All of a sudden, he notices her crossing over the street with some old geezer. Out of the blue, she gets excited to spot Shintaro a few steps away. He then asks if her family finally arrived to take her home while asking if he is her dad. Turning around with an innocent smile, she expresses how she is not sure where to go. Then, a sudden, pure-hearted miracle of a man gave a hand to invite her to his hotel. A sudden jolt makes his soul jump a mile high, and the man shamefully turns his face away. Spotting him at a distance, he grabs her hand instantly and pulls her over his side. Just then, he makes his run for life with her, as he mentions everything about this plan of hers feels wrong. Wishing he could rewind time, he scolds her for being such a clueless person. Even though he explains she is in no possession of a roof, she must never come to the point of selling herself. With some mumbling words aside, he slowly loses his balance and falls suddenly over to the ground with a loud thud. Trying to wake him up, she screams his name, while not knowing what she can do. Afterward, as his eyes take some time to open up, he asks himself if he is at home. Tucked in all nicely, a woman calls his attention as he sees Tawa-chan by his side, all teared up. She then asks how he feels right now and asks about any pain anywhere. Moreover, she asks if she can help with anything else. Seeing how she tucked him in with a wet cloth over his head, she seemed to have taken care of everything. Hence, he shares that he feels quite a lot better than before. With sudden tears slipping down her pretty pink face, she looks glad to know Shintaro is doing fine now. Seeing her whimpering, he is sparing her blushes as he realizes how she has been here sticking to his side all along, while he was shivering with cold. Wiping the tears, she apologizes for having an emotional range of a teaspoon. Adding to that, she asks if he would like some hot porridge. He surprisingly asks if it would be possible to even have any. Showing him a golden saucepan, she explains how she could not spot any rice around the kitchen, so she did some improvisation and put some leftover bread and milk to cook up a porridge. Not just that, she has flavored this with a lot of sugar to make this have some rich flavor inside. Excited to try this, he mentions never having anything like that in his life. With that, she takes a spoonful of hot porridge and blows at it to make it cool. Asking him to open wide, he exclaims on having enough strength to eat all by himself while dying out of secondhand embarrassment. With a bite coming his way, she warmly asks him to sit tight for this delicious ride and says, "Ah." She brings an adorable blush to his cheek while trying to feed him as he mumbles that this porridge is a huge success for a delicious treat. With a pink tint to her face, she is glad to be of service to this kind-hearted man. Another bite flavoring his mouth, he feels it to be so warm and homelike, as he thinks it has been long since anyone cooked anything for him. It suddenly dawned on Shintaro for not drilling the concept of "don't follow strangers" in her head. He then remembers telling her about how she cannot follow strangers off the street. Taking a look at her, he then proceeds to take a very long sigh, while taking a decision he might regret in the long run. Thus, Shintaro asks Tawa if she actually has nowhere to crash other than this, then she can stay here for a while. Beaming with excitement and blushing the scarlet out of her cheeks, she jolts from where she sits and embraces him in a tight hug. Locking him in her arms, this queen of red cheeks thanks him a ton for letting her crash in his place. Boiling into hot red, he begs her to calm down and let him catch some breath. He finds her to be a lot more goofy and crazy, on top of nice and proper. But to top it all off, she looks to be one good girl. Aside from that, he asks if carrying him here must have been a pure struggle, so he thanks her for dragging him here safely. Nodding to that, she says about having no trouble at all when she has wings to fly. Holding his hands, she whips out her white, gorgeously divine wings in front of him. To see this sight, his mind is amazed and blown away, and a golden glow to experience seeing such a thing for the first time in his life. In a flowing white gown, this addition of a magnificent set of white wings sets her apart from any humans he has seen before. Not just wings, but these are evidence of her existence from a place far beyond, called heaven. Eyeing him warmly, she grabs Shintaro's hands with a warm touch, then she lifts him into the air with an effortless grace while proving to him that she is an angel. Afterward, the next morning, Shintaro wakes up in his bed, thinking that it was just a dream in the cold. Suddenly, his gaze fell on a strange person sleeping beside him. A second later, he jumped a mile high, screaming like a broken trumpet. He manages to wake Tawa up from a slumber as her tiny wings protrude out of her back, while Shintaro finds himself to be clueless. Piecing up dots together, it takes him a while to get the idea, while she wishes him a very good morning. Hence, he demands to know why they are sleeping together, so she mentions having only one bed in the apartment. Seeing her loose clothes, he wishes the ground to swallow him up as he commands her to get changed, so they can go out for some breakfast. Rice is the choice. He watches Tawa mumble about collecting some stickers from this bread to get a plate. Turning red in excitement, she hops like a bunny when asking if a plate is more valuable than the bread. With that many jumps, she blindly whips her wings out as Shintaro screams in horror. Asking her to hide them, this commotion leaves the customers confused, while she apologizes for showing them in excitement. even when she is exceptionally taught not to ever slip them out in front of humans. Moreover, she tells him about learning this in her mortal realm, with a book about good kids' guide to life on Earth. Then he asks what an angel does except interfere with human lives. Thus, Tawa elaborates on how they pass on God's will to the people here and make sure the souls never lose their path between heaven and earth. Calling these two the primary jobs, Shintaro figures these to be a lot more hectic than he could ever think. Not only that, she expresses how this job requires bringing happiness to the people as well. So when he asks what this job involves her to do, dumbfoundedly, she then shares this is the reason God launched her here like a rocket. Later, thanking for her food, she takes a bite of the bread and jumps a mile high in happiness. She then requests to have such delicious steamed buns for every day, but Shintaro figures this idea rather aching. A sudden shock shoots through his brain when he remembers that 2 meals per day would make him break twice as fast. He believes that his pocket money will never be able to cover this expense, so he decides to use his long-forgotten kitchen to cook today. Thus, standing up before her, he asks Tawa-chan to join him at the convenience store for some shopping. Seeing how she has nothing, he exclaims of being ready as soon as she finishes up. Suddenly, she reaches closer to check his favor, but he jolts right out of the ground in shame while sparing her some blushes. Upon asking about his fever, he protests about having just lethargy and not just some itsy-bitsy cold. While Tawa looks glad knowing it, Shintaro just had a full panic dance calling for personal space. Not gonna lie, this guy laying on thick as he makes lethargy sound so funny for totally bumming out like a petite princess. Anyway, Tawa looks glad about not looking for his soul between heaven and earth. Bless her optimistic heart. Later, at the mall, Tawa finds this beautiful mansion to be equal to a palace, which blows her mind. On the other hand, Shintaro expects this place to be scurried over by the humans on Sunday. However, he asks Tawa not to leave his sight under any circumstances. Turns out that this girl is short on ears because she doesn't know when to quit and when to listen. Screaming to call her back, they proceed to shop for some towels and toothbrushes. Trying to hide her red face, he mumbles about having some extra towels at home. Catching her overthinking, he asks if there is something wrong with anything. So she mentions that if the basket gets a bit heavy to lift, she can make it fly as well while showing her wings. Nudging that thought aside, they proceed further to pick up a pair of chopsticks. A sudden glance over the countless colors of mugs lying around the shelf catches Tawa off guard. Not to mention that pink Neko mug in the center of the mug shelf is making Tawa drool, as she cannot stop herself from looking away. Picking it over, she figures this art piece resembling the 2 cats over the balcony yesterday. Though Shintaro asks himself if she could want this, Tawa ponders about him having enough mugs at his home, so she cannot take it. On the other side, a kid calls Tawa a princess, while a student mistakes her for a gothic Lolita, making them squirm in their spot. Afterward, they decide to shop for some clothes, so Shintaro is glad about saving some extra for trying times like these. Moreover, he asks her to pick something she likes and not worry about money. While she runs to try on some clothes, the helper compliments on picking a hot girlfriend, which makes him desire the ground would swallow him right up. About to change her clothes, Tawa realizes how a stranger like her is occupying his home like this while asking herself what she can do to ever repay his kind heart. Suddenly, she remembers her vision of bringing happiness to the humans, for which she is sent to learn. Rushing towards him, she cries about bringing him happiness in his life, which makes him turn red, as do the people she proposed. Afterward, strolling outside, he takes a long sigh of relief as he felt dying with secondhand embarrassment there. Aside from that, Tawa asks him if she picked the right outfit, so Shintaro tells her that she looks great. But to his wonder, she looks like a drop-dead beauty fallen from heaven. Thus, they decide to grab a bite and walk home together. Shintaro finally manages to drag the stuff home just as the sun is about to set for the day. Seems like this guy got groceries weighing a ton. That only happens when a woman tag along. Tawa then mentions putting all the food in the fridge. Hence, ever the charmer, Shintaro checks on Tawa, wondering if she is beaten from all the shopping. But with a warm smile, she says that she had such a joyful evening because of him. Going about the items, Tawa gets startled to see the Neko mug in between them and asks Shintaro about it. So he explains that she might need one of her mugs here as well, so it is hers now. Walking over the moon, she thanks Shintaro happily, while he thinks that he had a great time as well. Fast forward to nighttime, and his inner monologues take a funny turn. He roasts himself for being a cheapskate and not buying the bed first, as his priorities hang between fancy groceries or a comfy bed. As Tawa opens her eyes and lets her wings loose, she sees a beautiful city that is so pretty, filled with all the lights. She sees something moving underneath her. It is not some anime twink chill. It was a train and she was told about it before. Tawa flies to the train and moves along with it, which scares a man. Did not know that men can be scared of something other than gay guys. She flies and sits beside a railing and says to herself that she descended to a place with lots of lights. Now what concerns her is, how should she make contact with the humans? I would tell her that it is better not to interact with humans or another depressed fairy gothic girl will be born. Further, Tawa wonders that she thinks the Good Kid's Guide to Life on Earth said that when an angel descends to Earth, they should maintain a higher position than the humans and emit a powerful glow and introduce themselves in a grandiose manner. For that, they may extend their wings to their maximum size and spread them proudly. The second thing the book said was to hide their wings in blending with the humans, so now she has to choose between these two methods taught to her. Tawa wonders what would be the better choice for her. She wishes to establish good and friendly bonds with humans, so she should try to get to know them first. With that said, Tawa looks at the people from above who are busy in their own hustles and says to herself that they all look kind of busy. She yawns and flies away and says that she will try to look for a more easy place to begin with. After flying a little, Tawa finds herself in an alley and finds no one. She wonders if she should go back to the place where she was before. But she sure is hella tired and yawns and wants to sleep. The realization hits that she can't just go home. She looks at a building and is in awe while she thinks that it is a huge mansion. As she sees that, she flies to a window of an apartment and sees that the room is unused, so she supposes that she could borrow this space for a night without making trouble for anyone. Tawa enters the balcony and sits down. Her thoughts begin to follow her, and she wonders if she even has a place here. But she stays positive that she will try again in the morning, and she has a feeling that she will meet someone wonderful. With that said, she slept on the balcony. Coming to the present day, Tawa says that this is how she ended up sleeping on Shin's balcony. As he hears that, he sweats a bit and says that either way, he is very glad that she wounds up okay. Tawa turns to him with a plate of food in her hand and says that she is really glad that this room was his. She walks to him and sits with him. Shin narrates that this is a little while before the end of the last episode and they were having dinner together after their shopping trip. Tawa puts down the food and smiles at him that the food is ready so he can start to eat now. Shin knows that he is being a spoiled brat. Tawa even asks him if she can feed him, not the meat this feminine-ass man wants to eat. He gets anxious and says that he can eat by himself. Then Shin starts to eat the food, and the moment he eats it, he yells that the food she made is so amazing. He loves the potato dish she made, and Tawa was so glad to hear that. Shin is amazed that she knows how to make so many dishes, and she tells him that she learned them from the Good Kid's Guide to Life on Earth. This book has got everything that probably none of y'all's small brains could fit. Shin begins to eat again, and he is lost in the flavor. The rice is fresh, the miso soup is hot, and the stewed stuff is succulent. He says bye to the life he had before as he used to eat instant noodles and bread every single day. Well, it is just a fact that food made by somebody at home tastes so good. Shin remembers the moment when Tawa said that she vows to bring in happiness in life. Further, he begins to think that she is so sweet and nice, and a very good angel. He pauses for a moment that he is being served everything without getting anything back. Tawa notices that and asks what is wrong, and why is he not eating, to which he says that he was just thinking if he could do anything for her in return. But Tawa says that he is already doing a lot by letting her stay here. Still, Tawa says that she would like to ask him something after they get done with their dinner. After their dinner, Shin takes her to the bathroom and he tells her that he will explain to her how to use the bath. Tawa listens to him and he says that first, she has to close the curtain so she does not get the wash basin and the other stuff wet. Not the wetness his virgin self should be worried about. He tells her to make sure that the curtain is inside the tub. Next, he tells her that she has to turn this dial to get her hot water and the other dial is for the temperature. Then, Shin tells her that if she wants to take a bath, she needs to fill up the tub beforehand and use a plug to block the drain. I wonder if the femboys use the same plug for themselves. Shin gets up and asks if that helped her, and she says yes it did and thanks him for it. Later, Shin stands outside the bathroom while Tawa showers. He thinks that having a girl take a bath at his place is getting him all on the edge. Shin can't stop his imagination and wonders what is wrong with him. Boy, your gender knows no self-control, so chill out. He runs to the TV lounge and turns on the TV, but well, Even that is not of help because all he can think about is Tawa taking a bath. He bends down on the ground and thinks that this is too much for him and he can't just live like this, because to think about it, a girl is going to be staying, bathing, changing and sleeping at his place. Since self-control is a hard task for Shin like any other man, he thinks that this is hell for him. He gets up and says to himself that he should start to study. He has an English quiz tomorrow. Well, that is what he actually began to focus on. A side note about Shin, he can actually focus when he gets into the groove. After a lot of focus on his books, Shin gets up to take a piss break and forgets that Tawa is still in the shower. He opens the door and screams on top of his lungs as if his privacy got invaded. Shin closes the door right away and begins to say sorry because he did not mean to peek and he just needed to use the toilet. It got out of his mind that she is still in there and he keeps saying sorry to her. Tawa says in a shaky voice that it is okay while Shin curses the all-in-one toilet thingy in Japan. As he sits there and curses himself, Tawa pops up and says that she will draw the curtains and wait so he can go ahead and use the toilet. Shin yells in his mind that he does not have a humiliation kink and then tells her that it is okay. He got rid of his urge to pee after the big surprise. After a while, Shin sits in the bath and wonders that when he was alone, he would not have to worry about anyone being on the other side of the door. But now he has to stay careful. Then Tawa comes to him and asks if she can wash his back for him. Well, as soon as he sees her, he gets so shy and draws the curtain on himself and says that there is no need for that and he can do it by himself. Later at night, when they go to bed, Shin lays down with Tawa beside him and he thinks that at first he only needed one bedding in the studio apartment. He is shy as he thinks that they are way too close to each other. Tawa already fell asleep, but he can't sleep and he knows that he definitely needs to get an extra bed tomorrow. The next morning as the sun rises, Shin sits on his bed with his face looking like a zombie. Well, he did fall asleep, but for just a little bit. Then Shin grabs his phone and looks at the time. It was 5:45 a.m., not even 6 a.m., so he decided that he would go and take a leak and go back to sleep. Once again, as he opens the door to the bathroom, Tawa stands at her naked, with just her bra on, and they both scream. Shin quickly closes the door and says that he forgot and is sorry for doing that once again. Tawa says sorry to him for waking up and changing without telling him first. But Shin says that there is nothing wrong with what she did. He is in the wrong here, so he accepts it. Later on, as Shin cleans his teeth with a brush, he wonders that he took a lot to go back to sleep. But he realizes how bad it is to walk on someone naked, and as this might continue because they take baths and change regularly. So Shin decides to set some ground rules. One comes across his mind, and that is, what if they left the bathroom door open when it is not in use? That way, when it is closed, they will know someone is in here. Shin takes his pants off to take a leak and opens the toilet lid. But well, Tawa walks in because she wants to brush her teeth and sees him sitting on the toilet. They both scream once again as if they saw a cockroach. Well, not cockroaches, but yeah, something similar to that. Both of them begin to say sorry to each other out of anxiety. Shin wishes to just go poof after a hot angel saw her small stuff. Then comes the third day of his life with an angel. He narrates that he was being spoiled so much by her, but at the same time he was unable to fall asleep. Tawa serves him the food she made for him and tells him to start with it. As usual, the food was amazing and he ate all of it. Shin thanks her for the food. Then he looks at the TV, and it is airing the Good Mofuning time. He realizes that he has to get to the school. Tawa asks if he is a student and he says that he sure is. He is a first-year high school student. As she hears Shin, she says that she will clean up and get ready too. But Shin tells her that she does not have to come to school with her because people would be in shock if they see her with him. He says more that Tawa must have other stuff to do too. But Tawa says that she has to stay with him to keep him happy, and she very much wants to go with him. They hold an awkward eye contact and he tells her that she can't come while he wears his tie. Tawa gets up and says that he should take a day off then. Shin says that he would love to take a day off, but he is a student and his duty is to study and he has to do that. Tawa finally understands and says that she should not get in the way of his duties and she will stay back. Shin feels relieved and says that he will leave some money behind for her just in case. Then, as he is about to leave, he says that if she could, he would appreciate it if she would stay home and wait, and he will be back by evening. Sounds like a typical man, so he tells her to watch some TV and relax till then. She says she will take care of herself, and with that said, Shin leaves. Shin walks to the school while he thinks that he kind of feels bad for her, but he could not bring her with him. But for now, the only thing that bothers him is, he is sleepy as heck and he is so full that he wants to throw up. Suddenly, a friend of Shin comes from behind and hits him and greets morning to him. Shin yells at him and calls him an idiot, and what if it all came out? His friend asks him what he is talking about and Shin says that he could vomit. Then Sumugi comes and asks what they are doing. His friend Shu explains that they are talking, and she comes to Shin and asks if he is okay because he looks very unwell. She asks Shui to look at him too, and he agrees with her that Shin looks very pale, like a ghost, and he looks like he has been possessed. Shin thinks that he sure is possessed, but by an angel. But Shin explains that he just did not get much sleep. Shui asks if he was busy over the weekend with work. Shin says he was kind of busy, and Su suggests to him that he should take a day off today. But Shin says that he will be fine and thanks them for his concern. Tu says that she is worried for him because he lives alone. Shui turns to Tsu and says that she is being too nice to him, but she says that this is a normal thing in friendships. So Shui asks to be nicer to him too, the way she is with Shin. He says that he is such a good boy and he goes to school on time too. Tsu says he is a good boy in a careless manner, and he sees that. Shin says as he smiles that they have known each other for so long that they look like a funny married couple. Seems like Tsu did not like that remark and asks Shin to never say it again. Well, that reaction hurts Shui and he says that to her. Coming back to Tawa, she is at home and she cleans the home along with the dishes and laundry. She makes the house shine. Is this one available on Amazon? Tawa lays down on her bed and thinks that Shin must be in school right now and must be studying. She thinks that they ate so much and that made her happy and holds her cheek just by thinking about it as if she was in love with him. Tawa looks at the sky from the window and wishes that he comes back home soon. Sounds like an abused woman in the 1950s who would wait for her husband to be back to abuse her more. But that is what y'all grannies considered love was. She gets up and wonders what he will have for lunch because he said he would be back by evening. Tawa thinks that he will die of hunger and will not be happy. Meanwhile, back in school, it is lunchtime and Shin is just going to have some juice, and he gives an excuse that he will get some bread later if the juice is not enough. He already had too much for breakfast. Su picks his point and says that he does not cook, so now that makes her feel worried for him if he is being able to eat right. She sounds like a mother in love with her son, Sigmund Freud kind of stuff. She says that bread is all he ever eats for lunch, so he won't get nutrition that way. Even Shui says that he should eat a lot of bread to keep that nutrition up. But Su shuts him up and says that this is not how he thinks it is, and this is not the way it works. As Shin hears them bicker about it, he laughs at how adorable they are. But he assures that he is eating well but can't say Toa's name in front of them. So Shin says that it is the occasional staff meals at the work help that he has been eating, so he is taking care of it. But this obsessed girl, Su, won't stop asking him about it more and more. She asks that does he not work at a casual restaurant, and not even every day. Shin sweats with how much she has been asking him, and he just simply says yes. Then Su holds her stuff and says that there is something that she was meaning to tell him for a while now, and that is, can she make lunch for him too, along with her own? Su sweats and blushes while she basically wants to be her lunch nanny for free. Shin looks at her lunch and asks if she makes all her lunches by herself, and she gets a bit nervous but says yes, she does. Shin finds it so amazing that she can be a good cooking machine for him, but he already has a better one at home, so he does not really need a short-haired girl who looks more like a bisexual gamer gal who has a toxic average-looking boyfriend. Su says that she is just worried about his diet as a friend, and she makes her own lunches, so she thought she could make some for him too, while she blushes to even say that. Well, Shui took his chance that if she does not feel any burden, she can make his lunch as well. But Su says that he already gets his mom's lunches already, so he needs no lunches from her. Shui sounds like he took offense, and says that she should not underestimate a high school boy's appetite because he sure can eat both. Su says to him that it would be too much work for her, and Shui exclaims that she just said that one more won't be a big burden on her. But Su says that it means that she would have to make 3 lunches in total, and that sure is more work. Shin laughs as they both bicker, and he drinks his juice and looks outside the window to a surprise. It was Tawa with lunch in her hand for him. He screams and hides the window from the people and whispers to come to the roof, and he will be there. With that said, Shin runs to the roof while he says that he just remembered that he had to do something. They all look at him while Shui says that it seems like he had plans to meet a girl, and that makes Su angry and she hits his head. Meanwhile, the students wonder as they look at Tawa if the stress or the lack of sleep is making them seeing things. He runs to the roof and passes a blonde long-haired girl. So as Shin finally catches up with Tawa, he's all like, "Dude, why'd you come here when I specifically told you not to?" He's freaking out, because Tawa's wings are out in full display, and he's picturing the whole town gossiping about them being all over the news together, and that sure could be the flame of his life either getting better or going down the hills. But Tawa's just there, saying sorry left and right, saying she didn't mean to cause him any trouble. She was just worried sick that he'd forget to eat and end up starving himself. So she drops this package like, "Here, please eat this if you want to." Man, talk about a roller coaster of emotions. These two are like a sitcom waiting to happen. As Tawa is about to leave, but he stops her that he is sorry for pouting when she brought lunch for him with her heart poured in it. So Shin asks Tawa to eat with him, and she happily says she would love to. Then they sit down together with the lunch in front of them. As he takes the first bite, he tells Tawa that she makes really good food. Tawa says thanks to him while he eats. Shin thinks that it seems like she probably was not found out because she must have been trying to be discreet. Tawa eats too, and he looks at how pretty she is. Then Shin looks at the dish she made for him, which he loved last night. She made it for him again. He is taking a little too long to make that girl or angel whatever her wife. He needs to realize that gals like her are literally God sent. Tawa smiles and says that she knew that he would love it, and that makes her so happy. Then she says that she wants to learn more about the things he likes and want to work on it. He says that it would be great if she does so. Tawa says that she will cook lots of food for him too. Shin smiles and says to not cook too much. He wonders that he is possessed by an angel, but it ain't that bad, and he kind of likes it a lot. But he also feels very lucky too. Meanwhile, downstairs, the teacher asks who would help him carry the books, and Sue says that she would help him with it. As she is taking the books with her, she wonders where did Shin go. She even went and suggested making lunch for him, but he ignored, and she was unable to get a reply because of that shui. Back in the day, when she was just a little first grader, her folks took her on a visit to some relatives in the neighboring town. But typical her, she wandered off on her own, ended up getting lost, and started bawling her eyes out. Then out of the blue, this boy shows up, asking what is up and why she is sobbing like there is no tomorrow. And wouldn't you know it, it was Shin, her knight in shining armor from way back when. So Shin, being the stand-up guy he is, helps her find her way, and they stumble upon this house. She is all like, "Hey, this is where I live." And he is like, "Cool, glad I could help. Catch you later." And just like that, he is gone. But not from her mind, oh no. Thinking back, she realizes he was her very first crush, all the way back in the first grade. Crazy, right? But then life happened, and she did not see him for a whopping 9 years. Talk about a disappearing act. Way better than what y'all dads pulled off. Heck, she probably would have forgotten his name if fate had not decided to play matchmaker again. So it had been years since they last bumped into each other, and lo and behold, fate decided to throw them back together again. She could not help but chuckle at the irony of it all. But there was this nagging fear in the back of her mind, the kind that makes you hesitate to bring up old stuff for fear of being labeled a stalker. So she played it cool, acting like their past did not even exist. Fast forward to today, she is just chilling by the window, minding her own business, when she spots Shin doing some shady business with Tawa. I mean, talk about a plot twist. She could not believe her eyes. It was like something out of a cheesy rom-com. But here is the thing, as much as she wanted to brush it off as coincidence, there was this weird feeling in the pit of her stomach. Like, was Shin really who he seemed to be? Or was there more to him than meets the eye? She could not shake off that sense of unease, Anyway, she decided to keep her cool for now. No need to stir up drama just yet. After all, life is way too short for unnecessary confrontations, right? So she just leaned back, watched the scene unfold, and wondered what other surprises fate had in store for them. Meanwhile, Shin tells Tawa that she has to go straight home, and she can't follow any strangers, and she agrees to what he says. Tawa grabs his arm and tells him to come home soon with puppy dog eyes, and he says he will. Someone met their horror upstairs, of course, and it was Tsu. Her eyes are wide open. He shakily says to herself that he really was meeting a girl and Shui was not wrong after all. Then Tawa spreads her wings and begins to fly away, and Tsu can't believe her eyes as to what she just saw. MC went to school today, and Tawa made him lunch as usual. After school, MC comes home and Tawa is already eagerly waiting for him at the doorstep. She greets him in all excitedly as she is very happy to see him. She tells him that she has made dinner for him so he can just munch on it right as he gets home. MC surely feels fortunate to have Tawa doing this kind of stuff for him, but this is getting too close to him all of a sudden. MC takes off his bag and puts it on the table, apologizing to Tawa for making him do all this stuff and also for school today. Tawa does not mind at all, and she feels like she should be the one to apologize for flying so much today. MC wants Tawa to stay low and not be careless about this, as he does not want anyone to see her fly. He wants her to lay as low as possible for the time being, but he is fine for now. MC notices that Tawa also washed his clothes for him. The thing is, MC did not teach her how to use the washing machine, so this is really surprising for him. He expresses just how surprised he is seeing his clothes washed and done without him telling Tawa to do it. He asks her how she managed to get the washing machine running, as he did not teach her how to use it. Tawa lets him know that he did not have to teach him anything, as she has a guidebook made specifically for this kind of stuff. This guidebook taught her everything about the washing machine, and she got it up and running in no time. MC sure is shocked to see that such a guidebook exists in her world, but nonetheless, MC wants to get ready for dinner. MC thanks Tawa for doing all this, and he suddenly glances over to his clothes and finds his underwear also washed and tucked with the rest of them. This makes MC blush and embarrassed a lot, as he never thought someone besides his family would be washing his underwear. He has no idea how to respond here, because he wants Tawa to not do it again, but if he makes her feel that he is mad at her for doing this, she will start apologizing for it, which is the last thing he wants from her. MC has to keep his cool here, and he does it phenomenally. He thanks Tawa for doing this and picks up one of the underwear, only to find another one with a bear sticker stitched on it. This freaks him out, and Tawa has no idea what is happening. Upon asking about it, Tawa tells him that this underwear was a little torn from that side, so she mended it herself. MC knows she had no ill will, but he has to deal with it right now, or it will get worse for him with time. He tells Tawa that she can wear every clothes, but she has to let MC do his underwear. Tawa gets the feeling as if MC does not like the bear, so she offers to put bunnies the next time, but that is not it. MC just does not want her to have anything to do with his underwear. With this out of the way, MC gets to dinner and sleeps peacefully. On the other hand, a girl from the store is in her shower, thinking about MC every second. She has feelings for MC, and she has no idea how to lay it on MC. Also, what she saw today was something she could not make any sense of. She saw MC with a girl, and that girl suddenly got wings and started flying. She knows what she saw, and she saw it clearly, but it does not make any sense to him. She knows humans cannot fly, and there is no possibility that that girl was legit flying. The girl thinks about it long and hard, and she realizes that it may be the fact that she saw MC with some other girl, and it got to the point where her mind started playing tricks on her. She knows she is deeply in love with MC, and she wants him to know this, but there is no way for her to just go up to him and tell him. She gets very frustrated until her mom comes asking if she is alright in there. She also wants to make lunch for MC and wants to ask MC if she can do that for him. The next day, MC wakes him only to find his lunch already made for him. Tawa gets his lunch for him, but MC tells her that he cannot take it today. This makes Tawa feel as if MC has started to hate her. MC tells her that that is not the case. It is just that he does not want anyone in the school to be suspicious and ask questions about it. But he takes it anyway. Tawa tells him that the dinner will be ready when he gets home, but MC tells her that he will get a little late and won't be home until after 9. It is because of some work and hearing about it that Tawa also wants to go. MC tells her that she cannot because he cannot risk someone noticing her like this. Tawa wants him to take her with him, but MC dodges the conversation, telling her that he is very happy and fortunate that he has someone like Tawa doing all this stuff for him. This gets Tawa going, and she gets very happy that MC feels fortunate and happy because of her. On the way to school, MC feels bad for getting out of that conversation like that, but he meant those words. He does feel very fortunate to have Tawa with him. Getting to school, MC gets to his class and attends the lecture. After this class, he wants to eat his lunch alone so no one notices that he already has his lunch with him. He tries sneaking out of the class. Right as he is about to leave, his class fellow catches him creeping out and suggests that they should eat their lunch together. The girl is also with them and is deeply in love with MC. She and the other guy are sitting with MC with their lunches out when the girl feels like this is the perfect chance to ask MC if she can make lunch for him or not. She wants him to say yes, but she stops right when MC gets out his lunch and puts it in front of him on the table. The girl is speechless as she knows his mother is not home. She wants to know who made him this lunch. The guy with them is surprised to see that MC brought his lunch with him from home. Upon asking, MC has to come up with something believable or he is done for. After thinking a lot, MC tells them that he encountered an old lady who passed out on the way and he helped her get home. She gave him this lunch as a thank you and nothing else. Saying it out loud, MC realizes just how dumb this excuse was, but the guy buys it. The girl on the other hand does not, and she is more suspicious about it now. MC thinks he got out of it and opens the lunch only to find writing on his rice. It is a good wish from Tawa with Tawa's name on the bottom. MC freaks out and starts eating it right away so no one can see it, but the girl saw it. She is in disbelief reading the name Tawa. She knows for a fact that some girl made it for him and it is not his mother or sister for sure. She cannot believe that this is all real. After this horrific encounter, MC takes the rest of the classes and leaves. On the way to work, he is thinking about what happened today and just how dumb it was. He knows that he is coming with half-assed excuses, and he cannot keep on doing this. He cannot keep saving the same old lady every day and telling this as a story about the lunch. MC does not want to hide anything from anyone, but he does not want anyone to know that he is living with a girl. He feels like such a loser now, but he cannot do anything about it. He feels like he can tell everyone that Tawa is not a real angel but a cosplayer. The thing is, this is not the reason he is hiding her from everyone. He just does not want anyone to know that MC is living alone with a girl. MC starts banging his head on the pole and everyone starts watching him. A random fortune teller appears out of nowhere and tells MC that he finds himself in a girl's trouble and it is just going to get worse from now on. This gets MC's attention, but he gets out of there right when the fortune teller tries selling him her talismans. MC leaves, but he knows that the part about the girl trouble is real. Then he thinks about Tawa and realizes that the fortune teller is wrong. Tawa is such a sweet girl, she cannot be trouble to anyone. MC reaches the hotel and the manager greets him, asking about his health. MC apologizes for taking off on Saturday, but the manager is okay with it. He lets MC know that a new girl, Izumi, joined here, and he will be working with her today. MC is looking forward to it. Thinking about it, he goes to the back room, and what he encounters is the last thing he wants today. He goes into the room and Izumi is changing. She is half naked with her melons and her down south totally exposed. MC keeps staring at it unintentionally, and Izumi notices MC. She freaks out and comes up to him, slapping him right across his cheek, leaving a nice mark. MC gets back to work with this very clear handprint on his face. His coworker asks him about it, and he tells him that he is fine. As he is washing the dishes, Izumi comes to him with a cold towel so he can use it for his face. She tells him that she did not mind about what happened as it was her fault for not locking the door. She tells MC that he has to forget what happened as she has already forgotten it. Saying this, she leaves and MC does not even get a single word in. He gets to work and the day is going just fine. He and Izumi are serving the tables excellently. As Izumi serves one table, MC looks at her and stares at her clothes, only to find himself imagining her naked body again. He starts banging his head on the wall again in frustration. Anyways, MC realizes that he was thinking about the dilemma of Tawa. He thinks about it and he still does not have any answer to it. The day ends and the manager tells MC and Izumi to clock off. As they are about to leave, the manager tells them that there are trial parfaits in the breaker room fridge and they should try them and tell him what they think about them. Both of them get happy and head over there. As they are about to enter the room, Izumi gets the feeling that MC does not want to eat with her, but that is not it. MC tells her that he just feels like a loser and that the day kind of sucked today. She tells him that he worked excellently and he should not feel about it like that. Saying this, she goes inside the breaker room because it feels like she does not want to be nice to anyone. MC is just thinking if Izumi just complimented him or not. Izumi, on the other hand, opens the fridge and gets the parfaits out. These are cherry parfaits and they look delicious. She puts both of them on the table so they can eat it. MC notices cherries on top, and it shockingly reminds him of the underwear Izumi was wearing. It had cherries on it as well, and he starts blushing about it. He wants to stay calm and be cool about it, but he cannot control it. Then he remembers that Izumi said to him that she did not mind, so it is okay after all. He turns to look at Izumi only to find her blushing so hard she is completely red. MC knows she is thinking the same thing as well, but Izumi tries dodging it. The room suddenly starts getting cool and a huge storm starts in the room out of nowhere. It is getting so cold inside the room and in the entire hotel. Izumi is freaking out with embarrassment when she tells MC that she is a Yokiana, What in the name of Lord Heavens is that? MC cannot believe his ears. He cannot believe that after an angel, he encountered a Yoki Onna. Izumi felt as if no one would believe her, but MC told her that he was okay with supernatural stuff, and he believed her. The hotel is going haywire, and the customers are complaining about the sudden drop in temperature. The food is going cold in an instant, but there is nothing anyone can do about it. MC, on the other hand, tells Izumi that he believes her and she can calm down now. She tries her best, but nothing works, so they just run out of there. After running for a while, both of them are far enough so they can talk about it. Izumi asks MC if believes her really or if he is playing with her. MC tells her that he is sure about what he said. Izumi notices that she is holding both of the parfaits. She ran out of the hotel and grabbed both of them without a second thought. Seeing this, both of them start laughing. On the other hand, we see Tawa playing games on MC's console, and she is having so much fun. After a nice session, she is exhausted out of her mind. She expresses how the games in this world are so much fun. She notices the time, and it is way past 9. She is a little worried about MC now. Meanwhile, the girl from MC's class is in her room thinking things over. She cannot get the lunch thing from today out of her head. She wants to make sense of it, but nothing works. Randomly, she starts craving ice cream, so she gets up and goes out to the convenience store to get some at this late hour. We see MC and Izumi sitting on a bench in a park after they get down those parfaits. They were delicious, but that does not matter right now. MC is trying to make conversation with Izumi, but she is not responding normally. It is too awkward for MC. MC got to know that Izumi is in the same school as him, and that she is in fact a real Yoki Onna. Can we already know what a Yoki Onna is? Izumi speaks up and asks MC again if he totally believes her or not. Before MC responds, Izumi starts explaining her backstory. She tells MC that she is a real Yoki Onna, and it is passed down the generations in her family. Her mother and grandmother were Yoki Onnas as well, but the thing is, they knew how to control it. Izumi, on the other hand, did not, and that caused her to drift away from people in general. She tried making friends, but every time she interacted with one, she would lose her emotions, causing a huge blizzard as a result. From that point on, Izumi decided to stay away from people and not make any friends. That could not go on after high school started, so Izumi thought to join the hotel so she could serve and interact with people. That is failing miserably, as she caused a huge scene today. Saying this, Izumi starts crying and a huge storm breaks out. MC notices that Izumi needs help here. He tells her that it is not her fault she is this way, and the thing about trying to fit in again is amazing. MC is surprised that she is trying to change herself because it takes a lot of courage to head in and do the thing. People say they want to change, but they do not put the effort into it. She, on the other hand, is willing to try, and that is phenomenal. Hearing this from MC gives her the confidence she needs, and the storm stops. She starts tearing up, but these are happy tears. Izumi wants to be MC's friend, as this is the first time someone understood her and reassured her the way she wants to be. She wants to call MC by his first name, which is cool by MC. As they are talking happily, a feather drops on Izumi. It is Tawa, and she came here looking for MC. She found him, but she noticed Izumi sitting with him as well. She is trying to make sense of who this girl is when the girl from MC's class shows up here as well. She thought she would never see the girl flying, but here she is again watching this in real time. The situation is bad for MC, as he was a perfectly normal 16-year-old until this moment. MC and Izumi were chatting out in the park sitting on a bench when suddenly chaos wreaked upon MC. The worst thing he imagined that could happen, happened, and he has no way to get out of it now. He and Izumi were bonding like good friends, and it was going really well. Heck, it did go really well, and Izumi was glad that she finally made a real friend who understood her. She told NC all about her past and the thing about her being a Yoki Onna. For some weird reason, NC was not bewildered hearing about her being a Yoki Onna, and he assured her that it is not bad to be one around him. He made her feel at peace, and this was the thing Izumi needed. She let herself be finally open to MC, and they became good friends here. She told NC to call her Noel, as that is what friends do, call each other by their last names. Then why is it that my friends call me by something that is not even close to my name? They were having a good friendly moment when Tsumugi decided to leave her house to get some ice cream. She had a random craving for ice cream, and the route to the convenience store was through this park. She was on her way to the convenience store when she saw NC and Izumi sitting alone on a bench in a park. Meanwhile, at home, Tawa was exhausted from playing game after game, waiting for MC to be home. MC told her that he would be home by 9, but it was way past that, so Tawa decided to go and look for him. She came to the park as well, flying, which was the last thing MC needed here. Now Tawa is flying right in front of Izumi and Tsumugi, and they cannot believe what they are seeing. Tsumugi has her confirmation about what she was seeing the other day, and it is definitely a flying angel. Izumi, on the other hand, is seeing Tawa for the first time, and she cannot process this at the moment. MC is forced to think about where he went wrong, and why is he having all of this happen to him all at once. MC cannot think of a way to get out of this now, so he has to face it. The girls are shocked to see each other, and they have nothing to do but ask MC all about it. Tawa tells MC that she was worried about him, so she thought to come looking around for him. She thought it was nighttime so she could fly, but apparently not. On the other hand, Izumi is shocked and mad at MC for not telling her about this girl. Also, she cannot believe that this is a real angel because she is flying and has real wings. Tsumugi, on the other hand, confronts MC because of what she saw the other day. She tells MC that she thought she was seeing things, but she was right to think that this girl was flying. All of this is getting dumped on MC all at once, and he cannot process any of it. He jumps in agony, telling everyone to stop talking so he can think straight. He tries telling them that everyone should go home and pretend that they saw nothing, but obviously, they cannot do that here. Worth a shot, I guess. He then gets to thinking just how he can convince these two, Izumi and Tsumugi, to stay quiet about Tawa around everyone else. He is thinking about this when he hears Izumi ranting just how surprised and happy she is to be seeing a real-life angel. She cannot stop praising Tawa and the way she looks so soft. Tawa, being Tawa, just giggles and has no idea how to respond to all of this. Izumi shares that her favorite characters in anime and manga are all angels, and she cannot be happier seeing a real one in front of her eyes. MC is a little relieved seeing the way Izumi is taking this, but he notices Tsumugi and the reaction she is giving. He cannot figure out if she is taking this well or if there is a storm coming his way. They all sit and talk about all of it. MC tells Izumi and Tsumugi about Tawa and how she started living with MC. Tsumugi was a little confused before, but now everything makes sense to her. She gets everything clear, asking MC if Tawa is a real angel, and she just happened to be living with him. He assures her that there is nothing weird going on here. MC explains that Tawa is here in the human world to study humans, and the way she came to be living with MC is quite simple. She was sleeping on MC's balcony one night when MC saw her alone and helpless. That is when he decided to let her in his house and let her stay. Tsumugi cannot help but feel in awe hearing this. She loves MC, and now hearing just how kind and caring he is, she loves him even more. With this out of the way, Tsumugi is relieved, and she knows that MC does not have a girlfriend like she was imagining. She also wants to know if the lunch that MC had was also made by Tawa. That was sure as hell made by Tawa, and this just adds to the relief for Tsumugi. Izumi, on the other hand, is all confused. Izumi asks MC how he knows these two girls. About Tawa is clear, but she wants to know more about Tsumugi. She wants to know if she is a friend of MC or not. MC tells her that she is. Tsumugi, on the other hand, knows Izumi, whereas Izumi does not know anything about Tsumugi. Tsumugi explains that she saw Izumi roaming the halls in the school, and she also got the nickname Ice Queen because she does not talk to anyone in school. MC is a little surprised to hear about this while Izumi is shivering in nervousness. She is about to cause a blizzard once again before MC calms her down. Izumi is for some reason not happy about MC being friends with these two girls as well. Izumi is a little frustrated and she is getting a little agitated as well. MC calls her by her last name, but she reminds him that he has to call her by her first name. Tawa, on the other hand, apologizes to MC for getting him in all of this. This is all because of her being reckless and flying without thinking about it. MC tells her that it is not biggie. She just has to be careful next time. MC is very relieved about the way this thing turned out. He thought it was going to be all messy and stuff, but everything calmed down in a bit, and now he has to worry about nothing. The way Izumi and Tawa are calling MC by his first name is making Tsumugi very mad. She wants to be on a first name basis with MC as well, but she thinks she has no way she can get to that point like that. Right when MC thinks that this is all taken care of, Izumi gets up and tells Tsumugi and Tawa that she is a Yokiana. MC did not see this coming. He cannot think of a reason she is doing this. He reminds Izumi that this was supposed to be a secret between them, but Izumi does not care. She saw Tawa and how brave she was telling them that she is a real angel, so she figured that she should do the same and tell them her secret. Tsumugi and Tawa have no idea what a yokiana is, so Izumi starts blizzarding it up to let them know that she is a snow woman. It is a genetic thing, and she blizzards up whenever she gets emotional. She starts a storm by thinking about an embarrassing memory. This makes the wind go crazy, and everyone can see her underwear now. MC tries telling her to cover up, but she does not listen. She wants her true self to be out in the open for Tawa and Tsumugi, and it now is. She tells them that she is thinking about the time when MC peeked in on her while she was changing and saw her underwear. Hearing this makes Tawa and Tsumugi think of the worst scenario, and they start giving MC the stares. MC tries telling them that it is not what it sounds like. He did not do it on purpose, it was an accident. Anyways, MC tells Izumi to calm down, and she does. Seeing her, Tsumugi comes forward and has something to share as well. MC does not want to hear that she is a supernatural being as well right now. Tsumugi speaks up and tells everyone that she kept wetting her bed until she was in 5th grade. MC and others are confused about why she is sharing this. Tsumugi thought she should also let them in on her secret, but she misunderstood. Anyways, everything is settled and all of them are calm. Izumi asks Tawa about her wings and if she can make them bigger or smaller on command. She tells her that she can because wings are like a visual of her powers, so she can totally grow them big or short. Tsumugi is also a little surprised by all of this. Izumi tells Tawa and Tsumugi that they are MC's friends, and as her friends, she trusts them as well with her secret. With everything out of the way, MC and Tawa get home. MC is pooped out and he cannot even get up from the ground. Tawa makes dinner for him, and while she apologizes once again for making all of this happen to him. She knows she was not supposed to fly out in public like that. MC tells her that it is not a big deal. He wants her hidden for her safety and nothing else. At night, MC is having a dream in which special forces do a raid on MC's house. They get into his house because they are briefed about him having an angel, Yokiana, and other supernatural beings in his house. He is surprised and confused at the same time, but the special forces do not care about him. They are here to get those beings and get out. MC takes a look around, and Izumi is in the house with a kappa. MC cannot figure out where this kappa came from, but nonetheless. He then notices the commandos grabbing Tawa and taking her out of his house right in front of his eyes. He cannot let this happen, so he fights for it, but it does not work. He wakes up from the dream only to find Tawa waking him up. He goes to school with his baggy eyes as he has not slept at all. He was up all night because of the dream and could not sleep. He cannot think about losing Tawa like that. In the school, he is walking to the class when he comes across Tsumugi with even baggier eyes. The reason she did not sleep last night was because of her constant thinking about MC being with Tawa and Izumi. She kept thinking about it, and it was not healthy for her obviously. Anyways, she tries controlling it, but she cannot help asking MC if he is really in a relationship with Tawa or Izumi. MC denies it right away, which makes Tsumugi very happy. Their class fellow comes along, and he hears them talking about some Tawa, so he asks about who she is. Tsumugi makes up a story and tells him that she is MC's cousine, which is making all these lunches for him these days. This saves MC, and he thanks her later for this. MC is happy that now he can have someone with this secret, while Tsumugi is also happy that she finally has a secret between her and MC. After school, MC is about to leave when he notices Izumi standing by the main door. He goes to her and she gets very excited seeing him. She was waiting for him because she wanted to head back together like friends. She is being a literal child here, telling MC the way friends do different things. Like they walk home together and they grab a bite on the way back and stuff. MC stops her to tell her that he has work today, and so does she. This makes her a little sad, but she is ready to do this walking back home thing someday when both of them do not have work. She wants their first moment as friends to be special, so she wants to do this when they have a day off work. Saying this, she leaves without saying anything else. MC finally gets to see what she meant when she said she is bad at friending. Back at home, Tawa is getting worried about MC once again. She remembers the word MC told her. He told her that he has to be at a gig after school, so Tawa wants to know where this gig is. A cat is walking past the balcony when Tawa asks it about MC and where he could be. Meanwhile, MC is working as usual when the manager calls him to ask something. He tells MC first that it is up to him if he wants to answer him or not. Then he asks MC if he and Izumi are dating or not. MC is shocked to hear this. He denies it right away again, but he asks the manager where he got this from. He lets MC know what Izumi told him when he asked about her next month's schedule. She told the manager to put her on days when MC is also working. This told the manager that maybe these two are dating and stuff, but that is not the case apparently. Hearing that she and MC are friends, a coworker tells MC that he is a lucky man if Izumi is his friend. She tells MC that she tried befriending her, but Izumi told her to stay away. Izumi told her that if she was her friend, only bad luck would befall her. This scared her to death, and she tried staying out of her way. MC cannot grasp the way Izumi is like a complete emo stranger towards everyone else other than him. Anyway, the manager tells MC that he has to work on the floor as well today because of the busy schedule and a lot of customers. MC is ready to do his part today once again. After a while, MC is working on the floor when he notices Tawa and Tsumugi sitting waiting for their orders to be taken. He goes to them asking what they are doing here. Tawa came here looking for MC following a cat. The cat was lost midway, but luckily, Tsumugi was passing by, so they got together and came here. They want to get the all-you-can-drink set for both of them. MC takes their orders and leaves. Tsumugi is here to check on MC because even though he told her that he is not dating Izum, she cannot help but peep in on his work. She figured out where he worked from last night when he told her that he worked at a private restaurant. Tawa, on the other hand, is blown away looking at the menu. She has never seen a cheese-filled Hamburg steak. She knows it is going to be delicious just by looking at it. Tsumugi asks her if she wants to order it or not. Tawa is going to pass as she has prepared dinner already at home. Hearing this makes Tsumugi feel a little off. She knows that MC and Tawa are not dating, but to be living with such a beautiful girl who also cooks great is something that is for sure going to melt away MC. Tsumugi is sad now, but she wants to stay strong in front of Tawa. Tawa, being a kind, caring person, gets up and starts taking orders and asking customers if they want something or not. On the other hand, Izumi is really excited about working with MC. She is a little too excited around the restaurant, so the manager calls her to tell her to calm down a little bit. She goes and tells MC that she cannot be his friend anymore because she cannot balance friendship and work here. MC tells her that he respects her decision, but Izumi leaves abruptly, telling MC to not talk to her as they are not strangers. Tawa is doing her thing again, so MC gets her out of the restaurant to tell her that this is not her job to do. She tells MC that she wants him to be free early so they can go home. MC tells her that her helping this way does not help MC as he gets an hourly wage and he needs to work full-time to get the proper amount. Tawa understands and tells MC that maybe she is the reason MC is working like this. He tells her that she made his life much easier and she does not have to feel this way. She understands and tells MC to come home as she has prepared dinner. Izumi goes to the manager and tells him to put her days in when MC is not working as they are no longer friends. Many things have changed since Tawa-chan started living with Tokimistu. One particular thing is that Tawa-chan has been cooking food for both of them, hence they both eat together and enjoy their time. Tokimistu asks the girl about what they eat in heaven. At this, she informs him that they have a huge variety of food. The trees in their gardens provide them plenty of food. However, Tawa-chan does cooking here because she likes it. On the other hand, Tsumugi is thinking about Tokimitsu. Apparently, the boy has been asking her for advice about Tawa-chan. Sadly, the stupid boy doesn't know that Tsumugi has a crush on him. Hence, every time he asks her for advice, she genuinely gives him one. But after that, she feels bad for herself. The girl is his fairy godmother. Sadly, the dude is too blind to see. Apparently, the boy is living alone because his family has gone on a vacation. He wanted to go to high school in Japan. That's why he didn't go with his parents. The boy is confident and he is pretty headstrong about the things he wants. Tsumugi feels happy that the boy is her classmate now. She likes him because he is a good-hearted person and they are now good friends. However, Tsumugi feels sad that the boy is living with an angel at home and he has a Yuki Onna at the workplace. The girl knows her opponents are tough and her chances of being with Tokimistu are slim. Even after all this, she wants to help Tawa-chan and Izumi, because they are nice girls and she wants to help them. But it still bothers Tsumugi when the boy talks to her about other girls. Hence, Tsumugi thinks that maybe things would have been different if she had made her move before Tawa-chan showed up. And now she regrets not confessing her feelings to him. Tsumugi feels frustrated that her crush is living with an angel. Hence, Tsumugi feels that if she was not a normal person, then maybe things might have been different for her. Thus, she is sitting at the table and thinking about the things that will make the boy fall for her. Suddenly, Tsumugi's mom calls her and gives her a coupon card that she got from a lucky draw. Hence, her mother tells her to use this coupon code and go out with her friends. Funnily, Sumuji is looking at the coupon like it is the best thing that happened to her. She starts daydreaming about the date she will have with Tokimistu. She then hugs her mother and tells her thank you for giving her the opportunity to be with her crush. The next morning, Sumuji, Tokimistu, and Sino are going to school together. The boys are talking with each other. Meanwhile, Sumuji is feeling shy since she wants to go with Tokimistu on a date. Hence, she is thinking about the ways to ask the boy to go with her. Funnily, all day she tries to talk with him, but she failed to ask him and now she feels like crying. This girl is a lost cause. Funnily, she thinks that if asking him out was that easy, then she would have asked him out earlier and even started dating him long ago, but it's not easy. That's why she is still single. After some time, all the classes ended and sadly, Sumuji didn't manage to ask Tokimistu to go with her. Hence, she is sadly looking at the coupon card. At that moment, Seno comes there and takes the card from her. Hence, he reads the card and states that they all should go there to eat donuts. Thus, the boy tells Tokimistu to go with them. Therefore, Tokimistu agrees to go. Funnily, Sumuji becomes stunned at how easily Seno made all this happen. Seno is her knight in shining armor. However, Seno remembers that he has club duty, that's why he can't go. Hence, he tells Tokimistu to enjoy the treat with Sumuji. At this, Sumuji feels happy that Seno is her childhood friend. After some time, she is happy that now she will spend some time alone with Tokimistu. However, the boy has some work in the library. That's why they go there first. There, Tokimistu starts searching the books, and he tells the girl that he feels since angels and Yuki-onna are real, then devils and Kappa might be real too. That's why he wants to know more about the occult. He then tells Sumuji that it is great that they are here together. Funnily, she becomes shy after hearing this. After that, Tokimistu compliments the girl that she is very ballsy and polite. However, Sumuji doesn't feel very happy about his compliments. After that, they read books for some time. Sumuji feels creepy after reading all about devils and shirikodama. She then looks at the boy and sees that he's been sleeping. Hence, she starts looking at him and she feels he is cute. Sumuji recalls all the time she spent with the boy and she confesses that she loves him. Later in the evening, they both are standing outside and unfortunately, the rain has started. Seems like they are stuck there. Luckily, they have umbrellas. Hence, the boy suggests that they should take donuts and eat them at home. However, Sumuji feels bad that she will miss her chance to be with him. Thus, she starts running and states that they will eat donuts at the cafe. After some time, they are walking together and suddenly, a young boy falls on the ground. Hence, Sumuji hurriedly goes to help him. Sadly, the boy's umbrella gets broken. Sumuji feels bad for the boy, that's why she gives him her umbrella. The girl is too sweet for this cruel world. Sumuji and Tokimistu are now sharing one umbrella. Hence, the girl is feeling lucky today. After some time, they are sitting at the cafe and they enjoy the donuts there and chat a bit. The next day, Tokimistu is in school and he feels good that he doesn't have work today. Also, Noel-chan doesn't have a shift either, so she is also free. Seems like today is the day Tokimistu and Noel-chan will go home together as they had discussed. However, the boy is a little worried that they won't have anything to talk about. Funnily, he is wrong since Noel-chan is talking non-stop when they are heading home. She is talking about the manga and anime she has watched. Hence, the boy notices that she is really a talkative person. After some time, Noel-chan tells him that they need to buy a diary that they will use together. At this, the boy informs her that shared diaries don't exist here. Hence, the girl is feeling embarrassed that she doesn't know they only exist in fiction. Tokimistu tries to make her happy by saying that it's fine since elementary school girls still exchange diaries. Funnily, Noel-chan becomes happy at this. On the other hand, a group of students see Tokimistu with Noel-chan. They get surprised after seeing Noel-chan talking since they have never heard her talking before. After some time, they stand beside a store. There, Noel-chan asks the boy if grabbing a bite on the way home is a fictional event too. Tokimistu informs her that it's pretty normal to eat before going home. At this, Noel-chan hurriedly goes inside the store and she comes back after buying the snack. After that, they enjoy eating the snack and they seem to have fun together. After some time, they are walking together and Noel-chan is telling him about the dishes she wants to eat. The girl then tells him that she was thinking about what she would have with him after school, since it's a special day for her, because this is the first time she is leaving school with a friend. Hence, that's why she is so excited today. Surprisingly, she informs the boy that all this week she was sleep deprived. The night she told him that she was a Yuki Onna, it was very new to her, since she never opened up about it before. Hence, she was very happy, that's why she couldn't sleep that night. At this, Takemisto informs her that he had a weird dream about a kappa. Hence, Noel-chan starts smiling at him. After some time, they arrive at the girl's home. There, she happily tells the boy that it will be his turn to buy ice cream next time. Later at home, Noel is feeling giddy that the boy has promised to meet again. On the other hand, Takemisto feels happy that Tao-chan is at home, and it feels good that he doesn't live alone now. Funnily, when he gets home, he is stunned to see another angel with Tao-chan. The little angel slaps the boy for coming home when they are changing clothes. She angrily tells Tao-chan that she is taking her back to heaven right this moment. Tao-chan is folding the boy's clothes when she hears a noise. Hence, the girl opens up the balcony door and sees that a girl is lying there. Thus, Tao-chan worriedly calls the girl Shu-chan. Funnily, the little girl jumps at Tao-chan and starts crying. Tao-chan then gently tells the girl to get a bath, since she got dirt all over her. Apparently, that's the reason both girls were in inappropriate clothes when the boy came home. Hence, Tao-chan explains all this to Takemisto. After that, she tells the little girl to introduce herself. Hence, Shu-chan comes forward and states that she is Shu the angel. She then angrily grabs Tao-chan's hand as she starts running. Tokimitsu gets panicked. Hence, he warns them to not go from the balcony, since there will be chaos if anyone sees them. Whereas, Tao-chan tries to stop her. Hence, she suggests to Shu-chan that she should have milk first, before going. Funnily, the girl agrees with this. Trust me, food is the ultimate solution for everything. After some time, Shu-chan is happily drinking milk. Takemisto is observing the girl, and he feels weird that some angels are so tiny. Since this girl is basically a baby, Tao-chan asks Shu-chan why she is here all of a sudden. Because they are not allowed to descend to Earth. At this, Shu shouts that she gets permission from God. She then tells her that she was worried for her since she hadn't contacted them in a long time. Tao-chan points out to her that it's only been a week since she came to Earth, so it isn't that long. Tao-chan then asks the girl how she found her. At this, Shu-chan smugly states that she can sense her aura since she is her junior. After that, she insults the boy's home and calls it a dump. However, Tao-chan defends it and says that the place is not a dump. Funnily, Shu gets angry at the girl as she tells her that she can't live with a human male, because she thinks that human men are nothing but desperate animals. At this, Tao-chan defends the boy and states that he is very nice. Meanwhile, poor Takemisto is hiding his face in the pillow. Tao-chan then stands up and tells the little devil that she has made stewed veggies for dinner and apparently, they are Takemisto's favorite. Funnily, Shu gets horrified that Tao-chan has cooked for a human male. This girl is obsessed with Tao-chan. She then asks Tao-chan about the boy. Hence, the girl informs her that he is Takemisto. Strangely, Shu gets pissed at the boy. Funnily, Takemisto becomes afraid and asks the girl what he does that makes her angry. At this, Shu angrily tells him that he is a creep and also made Tao-chan cook and clean his house. Tao-chan cuts her off and tells her that she is doing this because she wants to. After that, she scolds Shu for speaking rudely. Tao-chan then tells the girl that she can't go home, since God sent her to Earth to learn more about humans. At this, Shu tells her that she should at least go outside. However, Tao-chan says that she can't go outside, because the boy told her that it was dangerous for her. At this, Shu gets angry and asks her how she is going to learn about humans, when she doesn't even go outside. Tao-chan and Takemisto are shocked by her statement. Shu-chan then tells the girl that she should come back to heaven. However, Tao-chan states that God chose her to represent all angel kind. Funnily, Shu switches her target as she is now angrily looking at the boy. She then goes to the boy and tells him that he must also feel uncomfortable living with Tao-chan, since she is from a different world, so it must be difficult for him to live with her. Takemisto replies that life with Tao-chan is full of surprises. However, that's only natural, since she comes from a different culture and environment. After that, the boy tells them that if he goes to heaven, then he is sure that he will do things that seem strange to the angels. So it's normal for Tao-chan to behave differently. But even after that, the girl always does things for him. That's why he is very grateful to her. Tao-chan becomes impressed with the boy. Meanwhile, Shu-chan is angry at him, because she wants to take the girl back with her. That's why she tells Tao-chan to not believe the boy. However, Tao-chan says to her that Takemisto is a good person and she believes him. Further, she states that Takemistu didn't just give her a place to live, but he also protected her. Apparently, Tawa-chan was excited about coming to Earth, but she was also very afraid. So knowing that there is someone here who is worried about her makes her happy. That's why she wants to be at his side and bring in happiness. Takemistu becomes very happy at this. Meanwhile, Shiu gets sad and she starts crying. After that, she runs from there. Tawa-chan and Takemistu also come outside, and then they go to the rooftop to find the girl. Tawa-chan goes to Shiu and says sorry to her. After that, they hug each other. Shiu starts crying after hugging the girl. Takemistu realizes that Shiu-chan also has a cute side. Funnily, at that moment, Shiu-chan gives him a death glare. Suddenly, Shiu-chan's locket starts ringing. The voice from the locket announces that Shiu-chan will be back home in a minute. At this, she starts crying as she doesn't want to go back without Tawa-chan. She then tells the girl that she will always pray for her safety. After that, she warns the boy to take care of her friend, otherwise she will kill him. The girl then vanishes from there. After that, Tawa-chan tells the boy that Shiu-chan's lectures got to her about how she should go outside. Takemistu tells her that he thinks the girl was right. Apparently, the boy stops her from going outside alone because it's dangerous. But nothing will change this way. That's why he suggests to the girl that from now on, after dinner they will go out for walks. And once she is used to it, she can go out during the day when he is in the school. Tawa-chan smiles at this and she agrees to his plan. After that, they regularly go outside for walks. There, the boy teaches the girl what she should do and avoid. After a few days, Takemitsu notices that the girl can go out normally now. Hence, he feels that once she gets familiar with it, maybe she can learn how to take buses and trains too. However, the boy feels concerned that she might get in trouble if she goes alone. But he knows the girl has to understand these things if she wants to learn about the human world. However, he is concerned for her safety. Hence, he decides that she can't use the bus or trains yet. Dude is behaving like her father. Tawa-chan is watching a food show. Thus, she tells the boy that the sandwiches are looking good. At this, Takemistu offers her that he can take her there to try the sandwiches. At this, Tawa-chan becomes happy. The next day, they are in a train station. There, Takemistu is teaching the girl how she can use the train. After a while, they arrive at the market. There, Tawa-chan holds his wrist and takes him to the store. They then eat the sandwiches. Takemistu is looking at the girl, and he feels she is cute. After that, they roamed around the market and did some shopping. They are now standing on the bridge. There, Tawa-chan sees a swan boat. Thus, Takemistu takes her to the swan boat. The girl becomes excited after sitting in the boat. There, she enjoys looking at the water, and they even greet an old couple. After the boat ride, Takemistu is feeling flustered as he wonders if they are having a date. Tawa-chan then sees a dango store. Hence, she holds the boy's hand so that they can go. However, Takemitsu removes her hand and shyly tells the girl that holding hands is something only couples do. Tawa-chan becomes flustered at this. At that moment, a lady bumps into Tawa-chan. Hence, the girl falls to the ground. Takemitsu worriedly goes to her side and asks her if she is fine. After that, he becomes angry at the lady for not even apologizing to Tawa-chan. Surprisingly, the boy then says sorry to Tawa-chan and tells her that every time she gets in danger here on Earth, it's the humans' fault. They are selfish and only care about themselves. He feels that maybe he is like them too. However, Tawa-chan gently smiles at him and tells him that if we don't care about ourselves then, we can't care about others. At this, the boy realizes that she is too kind, and he feels happy that he got to meet her. Later at night, this fun girl Tawa had a blast today when seeing many new sights with Shintaro. Not to mention, those delicious treats of fruit sandwiches and dangos were top-notch for this cute marshmallow head. But nothing worries her more than what's going to be on the menu for Shineto's dinner tonight. However, Shintaro, ever the charmer, won't let Tawa's hands cook this late, so the convenience store comes to the rescue. Upon reaching the 4th floor, Tawa is all up for some hot tea, but a strange pink-headed girl blocks their way home. Out of the blue, that girl jumps with a tightly packed hug at Shintaro, with a scream that could even wake a panda bear. Startled by this strange turn of events, Tawa cannot get the gist of what this girl is doing, lurching on Shintaro. Afterward, the pork rib sounds rather heavenly, as if the pink-headed girl, Mary, feels alive again. It is like a double take for the ages, as one is partly horrified to see her, and the other is more impressed by her casual food nabbing skills. Thus, she apologizes for being a total shut-in these days, while not even dropping by to check up on Shintaro. Even now, she is gulping inside with the speed of a leopard, chasing for some meaty bites. While Mari drinks her beverage, Shintaro explains to Ta that Mari is his aunt, who writes manga for a living. All of a sudden, Mari outstretches her hands, scaring the living crap out of him. As she lets the world know about her crazy-tard personality, she talks about not catching any sleep for the past 72 hours. Suddenly, Ta breaks Mari's munch on their stolen food by giving away a sheltered rich girl vibe who looks like she doesn't understand what manga is. However, Shintaro helps this little girl spirit to run to the light by showing some mangas. Not gonna lie, this nerdy guy not owning any of his aunt's mangas is a shock to his wits. This outrageous stunt scares the daylights out of Mari, as she considers Shintaro to be the first-line buyer of her works. Not to mention, Shintaro knocks her out of the field by telling her how she ate their dinner just yet. But Mari blames her all-nighters without food and drink has ruined her beyond any help. And for this reason, she cannot even think straight. Suddenly, this adorable crybaby rants about being on the waitlist to hug Shintaro. Despite his frustration with her missed meals, he couldn't ignore the toll it had taken. However, he notices how starvation stripped her down to the basic instincts of survival instincts. Just like a ketchup bottle sputtering as its last desperate drops. Later on, upon asking about contacting him, Mari mutters about forgetting her phone at home due to the crazy GPS tracking installed by her editor. This lad, about to explode, suddenly is defeated by his stomach's thunderous growl, while Ta offers to cook up something. Hence, Shintaro apologizes for not letting her rest even today. Out of the blue, Mari whips out some birthday cake like a superhero ready to wash away the hunger. Tears well up in her eyes like a dam to burst, and she continues to rant about her lonely life with no one to wish for her. Afterwards, with Tawa, Shintaro wishes Mari a happy 28th birthday. Later on, bawling her out, Shintaro's chaotic aunt switches up the crazy, just getting redder by the second. Thus, Tawa introduces herself as the girl living in the dream home with the mercy of Shintaro as he silently blows on his stew. Seeing this, Mari thinks that Shintaro finally woke up from this centuries-old slumber. However, Shintaro is bawling his eyes out when Mari eyes him, asking if he is hiding his girlfriend this much. Later on, Mari calls out to her good old days when she used to handfish Shintaro when her brother and his wife worked every weekend. Suddenly, Mari's question about his name as Shintaro-sama sends shocking jolts right up his brain. Fighting off this embarrassment, he ends up making one stupid lie after another. Afterward, watching her do chores, Mari mentions how nice of an angel she is. Hence, she wishes that Tawa would join their family. But Mari stumbles on 2 toothbrushes, which scares the bejesus out of him. After the brain fog clears up and her motor starts running, this is where Mari's thoughts come alive. She couldn't believe Shintaro, a passive type, was hosting a girl over his place. Out of the blue, it clicks as she bursts outside, exclaiming not to be stuck with the drugs and orgies. After this chaotic misunderstanding, Mari thanks for this loving tea while she asks Shintaro to walk Tawa home as it's getting late. Thus, off to some convenience store stroll, Shintaro cooks up an idea of letting Tawa slide back at the window. About to head back, Tawa strikes a spot for divergence, but Mari catches up to her to talk about how Shintaro is a nice catch. Later on, back at Shintaro's place, Tawa watches them mumbling about some sleepover prep. Hence, Mari's night stay looks to be a party pooper in Shintaro's plans. Moreover, he worries about Tawa enduring a terrible balcony sleep. The best he is doing is trying to find excuses to push out Mari, who apparently refuses to leave because the editor would make her work. Desperately searching for a way to get rid of Mari, who by the way stubbornly insists on staying. Thus, leaving is a no-option zone due to some editor issues with the birthday. Upon knowing about Squeamix, Shintaro bursts like confetti knowing his favorite author, Kita-san, works for his aunt. However, he is creeping the daylights out of poor Mari-chan, while Tawa, with tinted cheeks, looks to be enjoying this family giver. Even then, Mari sulks in the corner like melted cheese while Shintaro tries to lighten the room by telling how good of a manga she wore. Calling herself a deadweight author, Mari-chan has decided to stick herself to the floor. Suddenly, he spots Tawa having a sneak peek as she assures Shintaro of being alright at the balcony. Later on, this weirdo, Mari, begs Shintaro not to open the door at this late hour. Too late, this dumbhead Shintaro opens the door, and this is where the demon with red bulging eyes joins the scene. With that, this girl, Kita-san, is scaring the daylights out of both with this sudden appearance of Shintaro. Thus, Kita-san rumbles onto Mari's side with her boiling wrath. She rampages about, knowing every inch of her brain, trying to get away like a sneaky brat. Not to mention, this horrifying sight is rather unbelievable for someone like Shintaro, whose voice is trembling like a scared feral. Upon seeing Shintaro, Kita collapses on her knees to buckle down and make some sweet apology for barging into his home like a full-blown intruder. Adding to that, Kita promises to let his aunt stay in touch with him more often now. However, Shintaro whispers about not minding this at all. After this, Kid's son turns back to Mari as she blabbers about following his orders and doing as she says. All of a sudden, Kita wishes Mary a very happy birthday, which strikes her stone cold as she is happy to make it on time. With her cheeks burning hot red, Kita's son mumbles about buying stuff to celebrate, but she ends up coming home to an empty house. Realizing Kita's wish has already melted Mary's heart, Shintaro watches this lover's spat in his home. And this is where Mari decides to leave things here with a happy smile, to walk home with Kita's son. With her gone, Shintaro welcomes Tawa back right inside, as she can finally breathe in warm air. Later on, Tawa, with her cheerful grin, is glad to have met some of his family for the first time. On the other hand, Mari, ever the sneaky prick, gives off the idea of a rom-com with a boy and a girl sharing a studio department. Afterward, Shintaro gets bumped by a pretty little bunny girl with an unusual eye color who is being pursued. Catching their breath, this girl tries sniffing Shintaro like he is some delicious treat. Thus, she thanks him, while mentioning she knows nothing about the pursuers. With a sudden bolt, she doubts if they are descendants of her arch-nemesis, Professor Helsing. Out of the blue, this lad never thought of bumping into some third-world anomaly, as this girl claims to be the noblest of bloodlines from Transylvania, the ultimate being called Vampire Lilishka. We pick up right where MC caught the girl running away. He followed her to this alleyway, and here she stopped and is right now introducing herself. She is dressed a little funny and is trying to be someone she is not. The dramatic introduction tells you what kind of girl she is, and there is nothing else to it really. Oh yeah, the main character syndrome, I know. Anyway, she has one eye patched for some reason and the other eye is red. She claims to be a vampire and her name is Lilishka. MC does not believe this at first because this is getting way too ridiculous. He cannot believe that he is already living with an angel. Aoki Onna is his friend, and now this. MC is some kind of a demi-human magnet and he curses himself for it. But as he was slandering himself for it, Lilishka's eye contact fell off, and it was not her real eye. She has normal eyes and not the red ones. She removes her patch to show her second red eye, and that contact falls off as well. MC is now a little relieved but angry that she was claiming to be someone she is not. She says to herself that she bought these contacts for 1,500 yen each, which confirms MC that these are in fact contacts. With this out of the way, MC wants to head back and asks if she would want him to drop her off somewhere safe or to the cops. She tells him that she is already headed somewhere and he can maybe drop her off there. MC goes along with her and they reach a cafe where Lilishka works supposedly. She offers to pay back MC for helping her out, but MC refuses as he has to reach home before it is too late. MC does not want to get involved with this girl for any reason, so he makes an excuse and leaves. After he leaves, Lilishka cannot stop thinking about MC because of his scent. She would love to smell him again for once. She is getting creepier by the second. MC gets home and eats dinner with Tawa, where he lets her know about the psycho case he came across today. He lets Tawa know about Lilishka and how she was pretending to be a vampire when she is not one. Tawa is pretty intrigued hearing about an entity like this and shares that she has never met a vampire before. MC lets her know that Lilishka is not a real vampire but some girl with main character syndrome. Upon asking what a main character syndrome is, MC explains that these are people who think the world revolves around them and everything is helping them with their story. Tawa is again impressed by this and feels like these are fun people when MC clears her out that these are just nutcases, nothing else. Anyways, they go to sleep after the dinner. As they are sleeping, we see someone land on the balcony and get in the room. MC is in deep sleep when he feels something on his neck. He opens his eyes only to find Lilishka licking his neck like crazy and trying to nibble on him. He gets him screaming, which wakes up Tawa as well. Tawa is pretty calm, saying that they have a guest when MC tells her that this is not a guest but the nutcase he was telling her about during the dinner. MC is shocked to the core that Lilishka is just literally licking his neck. She lets him know that she could not stop herself because of his scent. MC tries getting her out when he wonders how the hell she got to the balcony all the way. Turns out that Lilishka really is a vampire with wings and fangs. MC is losing his mind, thinking that he is really a demi-human magnet all along. She explains that the contacts said that she was trying to be a European vampire when she was a Japanese one without red eyes. Cliché. Anyways, she forces MC to let her nibble on his neck when MC tries his best to keep her as far as from himself as possible. The night goes on like this and MC cannot sway her off. MC and Tawa get in a blanket together while Lilishka does her nibbling on MC. Waking up the next day, Tawa is devastated seeing that Lilishka is gone. She is sad because she feels like the sun burned her into ashes as she is a vampire. MC calms her down and goes to school thinking if she really turned to ashes. Sumidi finds him walking to the class, asking why he looks so tired. She figures it is because of the final exams and maybe he was up all night studying. That is not the case, and now getting reminded about the finals makes MC more upset as he completely forgot about the finals coming in a week. MC cannot stop thinking about how happy he was in his life. He was thinking about everything in his life, even where he wanted to take Tawa next. For now, MC just wants to head to the class and attend the lecture, not think about the finals. He goes to the class with Sumuji and takes the lecture. At the lunch break, MC is about to head to the school store as he did not bring his own lunch today when his class fellow asks him if he can bring him some pudding from the store. MC takes the money from him and goes straight to the store. He got his lunch and the pudding for his friend. As he is headed back, he is really hungry and wants to eat his lunch. He sits outside on the bench and starts eating his rice cake when some rice beans are left stuck to his cheek. Lilishka comes out of nowhere and eats them off his cheek, shocking him. He cannot believe that she is still alive. He asks her what the hell she is doing in this school when MC gets to know that she studies here and is in fact in class 2 of the same batch as MC. Upon asking why she left without saying anything, she tells MC that she left because he and Tawa were sleeping and also because she had to go back home to put on the uniform and come to school. Well, she had a valid reason to be honest. She adds that she was hoping to pop by MC's place tonight again to sniff him because she cannot stop thinking about his scent. She tracked him here as well as she cannot forget any scent she smells. This is getting really creepy for MC when he suddenly remembers the pudding. He leaves saying that he is glad that she is well. He goes back to the class, hands the pudding to his class fellow, and asks Sumuji if she knows a girl by the name of Lilishka. She has no idea who that is, but upon explaining her appearance, she remembers seeing a girl in the next class. 2 girls come to him upon hearing about Lilishka and let him know that her real name is Kagami Sayuri, and they remember her introducing herself as a vampire. MC is impressed that she was pretty straightforward about herself during her introduction. Like, who is going to believe that you are a vampire? Out of nowhere, we see Lilishka peeping in through the door of the class, looking at MC. MC turns his face away, pretending her do not know her. She gets the signal and backs off. At the end of the day, MC is about to head back home when a bat shows up with a note saying that MC needs to follow this familiar and come to Lilishka at once. The bat takes him to an occult research lab, where Lilishka brings MC in and tells him that from now on he is her servant, and he has to do whatever she tells him to do. MC refuses, and upon making various offers, MC still sticks to his decision. Lilishka wants to know what is his price when MC tells her that he does not know her and has no idea what she wants from him. She explains that she cannot stop thinking about his scent and wants to really sniff him all the time. She sent her familiar because MC made her think that maybe he does not want to be seen with her, and he does not want others to know that these two are acquainted somehow. Lilishka loses her control and tries to get a sniff by force, forcing MC by the wall when Noel and Sumuji barge in the door. Noel is shocked to see MC with someone almost hugging him. After getting everything cleared, Lilishka says that she cannot keep herself away from MC and wants to really sniff him. Saying this, she starts crying, and being a nice person, MC allows her to come by his place, saying that she can come through the front door now. Noel also wants to join, and so does Sumuji, but she cannot get it out of her mouth.